Hi, I'm McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups, and we have a topic today, what to do if your ex is in a rebound relationship. We actually talked about this a couple days ago. I did have a story that came in, a few, but one in particular that came in last night that's a bit frantic and wanted some information, so I thought, let's just dig into it a little deeper, because this is one of those topics that a lot of people have issues with, and I got a top 5 right off the bat on how to deal with it. But we'll also review a couple other videos that were made about it, and just get a little deep dive on this, because if you're concerned about your ex being in a rebound, first of all, titling it that doesn't do you any favors. Okay, so titling, they're in a rebound, they're this or that, it just doesn't help you. Okay. Number one thing to do, stop spectating. Okay, so if you have this idea like, oh, my ex isn't, first of all, they're just in a new relationship. Like, take the rebound label off, because that's just a negative connotation, and that's just a narrative story. Oh, they're just with this person because they don't want to be alone. That's what a rebound kind of is. They're settling for someone that's less than me or less than they can do. They're in a new relationship. They're a free agent. They're allowed to do what they want. Okay, that's the reality. Stop spectating. What does that mean? No social media. Don't look at the pictures of them too. I've had clients do this repeatedly. Oh, I saw another picture of them last night. Can we get an emergency coaching session? Why do you keep doing this? It's like cutting yourself. Okay? So stop spectating, number one. No matter how much you think that you need to know, or it's good for you to know, or if you get more information, it's going to help you out in some way, it's not. It's just going to hurt you. It's just going to hurt you. They're in a new relationship. Whether that guy's a jerk, whether that chick's a jerk, whether they're bad for the person or not, it's completely up to them. It's out of your realm. Number 2, stop assuming you know all about the relationship. This is actually a big one. I get clients all the time. Oh, I know that they're doing this. You don't know. As soon as you say the words, and I'm going to say it in the next point, stop assuming you know all about the relationship when you just have a couple puzzle pieces. She's with someone new, right? She's with someone new. Okay, you know that. But all these ideals that they're going to get married, or she doesn't really like him, he's bad for her, that's just assumptions. Okay? It's not going to do you any favors. It makes you look foolish and bitter. You have a couple puzzle pieces and you're trying to put it together. Number 3, every time you say, I think, it means you don't know. Accept that you don't know. They could be in a relationship and she's really unhappy. They could be in a relationship and it's rose petals and wine glasses. In both cases, you just don't want to know. She's sleeping with someone else. He's sleeping with someone else. Oh, I think they're this. I don't know. And that's okay. I'd rather not know. I'd rather not know than assume the worst. Because no one, anyone that labels their ex in a rebound relationship, they never say anything positive. Okay? Number 4, your ex is seeing someone else regardless. If that relationship doesn't work or it's bad for them, it's not your place to decide that. You are free to see who you want as they are. Okay? Repeat that to yourself. Just think about that for a minute. Number 5, stay in no contact. What's the alternative? So it's like, oh, should I stay in no contact? Newsflash, they're with someone else. Why would you peek your head in the door and go, hey, can we talk? They're with someone else. It's not that it's necessarily over or it's curtains, but it ain't coming back anytime soon. And what are you going to do? You're out of a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and you're going to compete after they broke up with you? You're going to compete for it? In the name of, I'm going to fight for the relationship. That's Hollywood shit. I mean, what's the alternative? B, do you disagree with any of these?
No.
I mean, what's one that stands out to you the most?
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you ever had a situation where you were like, oh, my ex is in a rebound?
I never thought about it that way, I don't think. Like, I never, like you said, you put a negative, like, connotation
If you had a friend come to you and he's out of, like, 3-4 year relationship, like, she's in a rebound, what would you say? Would you go, oh, cool, man?
I'd be like, yeah, all right.
and he kept going on about the guy and everything about the guy, B would probably go, oh, he's actually a good guy, man. You should be positive.
I don't think I'd say that, but
You just listen.
I just listen. Yeah.
All right. So I got a couple stories on deck. We have 5 on deck. How you doing, playlist 003? What a name. Oh, Johnny is also on deck. How you living? Large and in charge, I hope. Yeah, so this story came in, like I said, yesterday, and it's always a little bit of a, when someone's like, oh, and then how do I get them back? It's like, all right. I know this is the number one thing for this space and these videos. It's like, okay, this is how you get them back. It's like when you go 0 to 100, first of all, when they're seeing someone else, not anytime soon. I mean, that's, even if, all right, let's just say the rebound relationship goes wrong. It's bad, and she goes, oh, now I've realized, or he says, now I've realized how much I miss you, which is possible.
Sure.
Someone can see someone else, and it's so bad, it's not the same, you don't have the same body as they do, the list goes on. It was a train wreck. They still saw someone else. So, like, when they come back to you, it's a little tainted. It's not like you're going to go, oh, this is great. For men, this is what happens, okay? And I'm not even saying this for a rebound. I'm just saying that she's been in any other man's bed or vicinity of a bed. He wants to know some details, or he wants to know a little bit about it, or he's not just going to be able to let it go right away. He's going to be like, hey, what happened? So it's not the ideal situation for most guys. Number 2, for women, they'll be asking questions too, wondering what's next. In the shadows of all this, what were the problems in your relationship to start with? Why did you break up in the first place? That's what you got to get to. It's like, was attraction lost? One of the things, like, at the core of, if you even have a chance of getting back with an ex, and you think you want to get back within the next month, 2 months, was attraction still there? Like, when I talk to clients and they're like, oh, we were still hooking up at the end, and attraction was really high, then you got a good shot, because that can bring you back together. It means you're in each other's presence. There's something special there. There's something that can't be measured, right? If attraction was completely lost and they're seeing someone new, what are you going to regenerate attraction? Do you know what I mean? And you kind of know when attraction's lost, because they don't want to touch you anymore. They don't want to sleep in, like, there's a lot of guys I've dealt with. They're like, yeah, we were sleeping in separate rooms for like 6 months. Well, I guess that wasn't a red flag. Well, I just kind of thought, because she said I snored. Okay, but for 2 years, it wasn't a snoring problem, right? I'll get to your comment in a moment, oh, Johnny. That's big news. How does that go together? Girl wants a baby and she's tired? Elaborate, please. All right, so here's the story. Hi, Coach. I just want to say thank you. Your content has helped get some clarity recently. However, I'm in need of some help. My ex broke up with me 3 months ago and was dating another guy in a month to month and a half time. So I'm a little confused how he wrote this. I'm just reading it as it was wrote. He writes 2 months at the absolute max. So what he's deciphering is, was it a month and a half, 2 months? He's not sure how long she's with someone else, but she's with someone else. Okay. That's not needed. She's with someone else, period. We were together for 8 months, so I know it's not a long time, but not insignificant in my opinion, as we were serious. Well, we were serious in your opinion. So 8 months, okay, let's just say this. Let's just say you're 8 months into a relationship. I'm going to tell you the truth just from my personal perspective. 8 months, yeah, it's not a very long time to feel like it was serious. Here's the thing. Everyone's different. You could have been like, wow, man, we were rose petals and wine glasses. We were walking in the park. It was a movie. It was Harry Met Sally. The list goes on, right? But was she feeling the same, or was that just what your perspective was? Maybe it was all good until it wasn't. See, this is the thing. When that first year, that second year, people surprise you. People surprise you in year 5. You're like, oh, you had a stepsister? Like, I didn't know that she was going to live with us, or there's all kinds of surprises that come up. So the fact that you were serious with what you knew of her, and then circumstances come up. Families have issues, right? Like I've had clients before where they're like, my brother got cancer and I had to go away for a while, and then it affected my relationship, and she just didn't understand. It's like, these are the kinds of things when you're like, well, we were to get, like, I don't know what the circumstances are, but 8 months is just a sample size. People just can change like that. You're like, oh shit, I thought I knew you. Well, I mean, it takes longer than 8 months. If you were living together, I don't know the other things. So the fact that you were serious and maybe she wasn't as serious, very common. Don't take it personal. I'd like to say that my ex's relationship is a rebound. Okay, so just keep in mind, you're certifying it as a rebound. A rebound is an opinion-based thing, okay? If someone came to me and I was in a new relationship and you could be my good friend like B, and B goes, man, looks like you're in a rebound, I'd be like, well, I don't agree with your assessment. It's like, you know what I mean? If he says that to me, sure. But I mean, it's kind of like saying, this is the best ice cream I've ever had on earth, and I try it and I go, it's shit. It's just an opinion. So this idea that you've declared that she's in a rebound is a biased opinion. You want to believe that, okay? I'm just being honest with you because that's what I do. I give honest, non-biased advice. I don't have to you're not a good friend of mine. You're asking me for advice. You declaring that it's a rebound is convenient. But this guy's very similar to me. Seems like a good guy. Okay, pat yourself on the back for that one. Is definitely her type. Right off the bat, how do you know all this about the guy? Plus, she was set up with this guy by her best friend. How do you know? Again, this is covert stalking. You're broken up, unless she shared this with you. That's why I'm scared. Okay, bottom line, if you're scared, you're unattractive. Okay, so right now, if you think, oh, if I could just talk to her, if we could just go out, if you're scared and you're going to be, hey, I know this best friend of yours hooked you up with this guy. I know we were together 8 months and it was like unattractive. Okay? This doesn't scream typical rebound, even though it did. And this is going to sound critical of you, right? But I'm going to be real. What makes you a rebound expert? Ask yourself that. Well, this doesn't seem like the typical rebound. How many have you studied? I mean, where are you going with this? This is just a label. She's with another guy. Whatever happens in the future, who knows? Okay? But this idea that, no, it's a rebound. It's kind of like when people go, my ex is a narcissist. Possibly. Doesn't erase the fact that you broke up with them. I prefer you just go, the guy's a jerk or an asshole. Narcissism is such this big clinical word that you have to study all these terms and put someone in a box, and then you get caught up and entangled in it for months and telling all your friends, it was a narcissist. It's like, well, you're out of the relationship now. Yeah, it damaged me. Well, how are you going to move on? I mean, it doesn't, whether you call it a rebound or don't call it a rebound, she's with someone else. Okay? Let's just be clear on that. How about this? If you got rid of the rebound label, what would it be? Just a question. She's with someone. So she was set up by her best friend. Very common. This doesn't scream typical rebound, even though it did happen pretty fast, and my ex is always dating someone as she has low self-esteem issues. So this is really great that you wrote this out. So right off the bat, you think you're identifying something that was an issue for her. But if you identify your ex-girlfriend of 8 months that you were serious with of having low self-esteem issues, you probably had issues with her. If I identify my girlfriend as having low self-esteem, how did you treat her? That's a negative connotation, right? Do you know what I mean by that, B?
Yeah.
Like, well, and you're saying it kind of like just a throwaway statement.
Just throw it away.
Yeah, she's got low self-esteem and she's always dating someone new. So how does this transpire on wanting her back? Why would you want back someone with low self-esteem? If I had to guess, and I would call my guess a hypothesis because I have experience in this stuff. It's not biased in that sense that I want this to be true, right? This is an educated guess. I would say that because she has low self-esteem issues, you probably were a little bit controlling and a little bit on the side of telling her what she was doing wrong. Whatever that was, if I had to guess. Also, this is another reason I'm worried. Okay, so you're scared and you're worried. Okay, so before you could even think about getting back with her, You're going to have to get to a point where you feel good or neutral. Because if you go into talking to your ex and you're worried and you're scared, you're already dust. It's highly unattractive. The only hope is pity, and pity only goes so far. I saw some pictures on social media, and my ex was tagged in them. All right, so now you're covert stalking. Again, probably you sending your story like, hey, man, kind of ripping me apart here. I'm just being fucking honest, dude. Stop spectating. You're the guy in the cheap seats, eating a bag of popcorn, having 2 hot dogs, going, look at this guy, he's a bum. Look at him. It's like, well, take a look in the mirror, dude. You ever going to play ball?
Yeah.
Right? Stay off social media, dude. Like, you have to. Oh, I can't. Yes, you can. You just eliminate your account unless it's part of your job. Then start a new handle or whatever they call it. But this idea that you're, here's the thing. I'm scared. I'm worried. You're tracking her. And she's in a new relationship. It hurts you. Stop doing it. Okay? It's poison to the soul. And you're like, who keeps poisoning me? It's you. Not only was this new guy hanging out with my ex's family, but the new guy's mom and dad were also hanging out. Again, you have too much information. He writes, is that weird? No, not really. I mean, I don't know and here's the thing when people come to me, oh, is this normal? Is that normal? There's no normal in relationships, okay? That stopped in the 1950s. Okay? For America, at least. There was a normal because of what you saw on TV. But really, there is no normal. Everyone has their own rules, and there's a lot of weird shit out there. And weird just means not me. That's what it means. It means, oh, you look weird. Just means that's not what I would do. Weird shirt. That's not what I would wear. You know what I mean?
Right.
When I lived in San Francisco for a little while. And I remember being like, damn, there's a lot of weird people. And this guy goes, there is no weird people in San Francisco. That's the point.
To you, Mac.
Right. I dated this girl for 8 months, and her family never met mine. Okay, so that could have been a lot of different things. I don't know how far your parents lived apart. Maybe you didn't set the table for that.
Yeah, who knows the family dynamics
right.
there.
Yeah, like maybe you didn't have as much in common. Maybe you weren't as proud as your parents. But that's not, oh my God. I mean, I had a girlfriend that I dated for 5 years. Her parents never met my parents. And I never was like, oh my God. And if she dated a new guy and her parents met his parents, I'd go, oh, great. Good for you.
Cool.
And she dates this guy, and 1 month in, the families are already meeting and they weren't friends before. Like I said, if I was in a live coaching session, I'm like, all right, well, how close are you to your parents, dude? And if you were like, well, me and my dad are kind of distant. My mom's an alcoholic, It's like, well, you probably don't want your parents to meet their parents. It's like there's all kinds of variables to that. That's why I don't think this is a rebound. Okay, let me reread this. That's why I don't think this is a rebound. But before you wrote, I would like to say my ex's new relationship is a rebound. So now you're confusing me in 2 paragraphs. I'd like to say my ex's new relationship is a rebound, but this guy is very similar to me. Okay, so you want to say that. This is great that you wrote this. This is why you write your story out, because you can get clarity on your own thoughts. Okay? You're writing, I would like to say my ex is in a new relationship is a rebound. So you want to believe that narrative because somehow that means it won't last. Okay? That's why I don't think this is a rebound. There are too many things that I can't ignore. Unfortunately, you should be ignoring it all because you're not together anymore. Okay? The new guy, the families are friends. This was set up by the best friend. Now you're playing Sherlock Holmes here, man. So you think like, hey, I'm putting this together. You only have a few puzzle pieces, and guess what? You're not even allowed in the arena. Now, if you went to her and you're like, hey, I want to get this straight. Are you in a rebound right now? What would that accomplish? Probably wouldn't. Even if she said, oh, you know what? It's not a rebound, and I really like Chuck, and da-da-da-da. You wouldn't believe her because you have your own agenda here. I would like to say my ex is in a new relationship as a rebound. How about just saying this? We broke up. I'm hurt. I'm upset. I miss her. I want her back. We were together 8 months. I thought it was a good thing. What did I miss? This idea that she's in a new relationship is ignoring. You haven't mentioned one thing about why you broke up. So and by the way, completely honest, most people don't. A lot of guys don't. This is why it's good to send in your story, because it's like you haven't mentioned once. There's a little sliver of clarity where she's always dating someone as she has low self-esteem issues. It's like, well, what does that say about you, dude? How people talk about their exes says a lot about themselves. What I see in you, I see in me. And that, how would you treat someone in a relationship that you viewed as having low self-esteem? Probably a little bit bossier. Probably a little bit, hey, you should be doing this way.
Controlling, yeah.
There's no way my ex would leave. This probably due. Okay, so the new guy, the families are friends. This was set up by the best friend. There's no way my ex would leave. This probably due to the embarrassment and problems it would cause. I don't know what that even means. I mean, leave the new relationship.
Leave him?
I don't know if he means the new relationship or him, but again, even though you were together 8 months, you don't know each other as well as if you were together 2 or 3 years. Okay. Number two, you haven't even mentioned if she broke up with you or you broke up with her, but I'm assuming she broke up with you, and you haven't told me what the reason she broke up with you was. You're just going straight into she's with this guy, but you're not assessing, you're not taking accountability and going, she had this problem with me. Do you think this could be a rebound despite the evidence against it? I don't have enough information to clarify that, and rebounds aren't clear until the game's over. Does that make sense? So if she breaks up with the guy 6 months later and she goes, you know what, I just think that was a rebound. She doesn't even know. You see what I mean by that? You can't. And if you called this guy, yeah, I knew it was a rebound. She's broken up with the guy now. It's like it's not even that clear. How many relationships that start within 2 months of a breakup last? Let me get out my calculator and my research studies from Johns Hopkins real quick. Hold on. I don't know. I mean, that you'd love to get some stats on that. Right. This is where someone on another show go, hey, there's scientific studies that support this. And then they'll give you like 70%, and then they don't show you the scientific studies. You know what I mean? Yes. Right? This is a big thing on YouTube now, right? Yeah. Fucking Brad Browning and those science supports this. It's like, where is it in your thing?
He just wants a percentage to know how likely it is. That
how many relationships that start within 2 months of a breakup last? I don't know. There's about 7 billion people in the world and about 6 billion date. So I don't know how to put that together. Now you're thinking, why are you being such a smart ass? You got to be playful on this, bro. You really do. I'm trying to break up the seriousness of this because it's a bit ridiculous. I'm being honest with you. This might not be what you expect because you're like, hey, I wish you were. I'm being honest with you. Because what you're doing, you're waiting on the sidelines. Even if, like, let's just put this in perspective. Best case scenario, and you're like, oh, she breaks up with him. The guy ends up doing something extraordinarily unattractive.
And it's over.
Doesn't mean she's going to get back with you because you still haven't mentioned or come to the plate with why you broke up. So I don't know. So you're looking at it like, well, if this is a rebound and then she breaks up with him, we'll get back together. Sounds like a Hollywood movie. But you still haven't got to the part where you're like, yeah, this is what happened. This is where I take a little accountability. You've taken some shots at her self-esteem. But how many relationships to start within 2 months of a breakup last? I don't know, but some do. Some do. The fact that you said she's, insecure and the parents met, maybe they'd last longer than you think. But I'll tell you this, I won't be the guy in the cheap seats going, oh, this happened, now this happened, now that happened. You gotta get off the social media. You gotta keep keeping track of it. Because guess what? Even if you did get back together, which there's always a chance, and don't ask me for the percentages, I don't know. I could say 50-50, 40-60, whatever. But the bottom line is it's always a possibility. The question is how good a boyfriend you were. That's what people get lost. It's like, what do you think my shot is? How good a boyfriend were you on a scale of 1 to 10? Be honest.
Plus, also, if you do all this detective work and you have all this information, in the back of your head, and you do eventually get back together, that's probably not a good thing. Like if you just went cold,
That's exactly what I was going to say.
You know what I mean? So,
that's what exactly I was going to say. You'll have all this material in the back of your head, and you'll want to get some facts. So let's just say you get back together, you sleep together. It's the next morning, you get breakfast, you have coffee, and you're like, hey, I got to ask, was it a rebound? You just killed everything.
Done.
Right? And you're like, well, I need to know. Guys do it all the time, too. It's like, I need to know. It's like, well, you're not ready to get back together. All right. So then he wrote back. This happens sometimes in the email. I wanted to add something. Also, is there anything I can do to get my ex back at this point, or is it all lost? Okay, so this is a very classic question. You come to a coach and you're like, figure this out. It's not going to be, and this is the hardest thing, it's not going to be anything that you do. It's going to be what you don't do. So I know that's counterintuitive for a lot of people that are go-getters.
Yeah, we just talked about this.
Right?
Yeah.
I want to write a letter. I want to write an email. Don't do it. I want to call her one last time and tell her the door's still open. Don't do it. So it's not what you do, it's what you don't do. Staying in no contact, you probably watched 100 videos on this to reinforce it because you don't like the idea of it, because you're like, I'm sitting on my hands, I'm not doing anything. But the reality is, number one, you're accepting the breakup, which shows dignity, class, and balls, right? Even if you're at home crying I had a client, he's 3 or 4 months in no contact, he's crying once every 2 or 3 days. I'm like, it's all right, man, just do it in private. Right? Someone's like, oh, so you can get it all out. It's okay. You're not ready to do anything, because if she rejected you again, you'd go even worse. So no contact. Let this run its course. However it runs its course, don't watch from the sidelines. It'll eat your heart like rats on a cheese log. Okay? At this point, is it all lost? No, that's just a viewpoint to be dramatic.
Right.
Right? Okay, so that's just, this is why it's good to write this. That's why it's good to write this in and be anonymous, right? So it's like, if I was saying your name and we're a group of friends, you're like, wow, you're being real harsh on me. This is why it's beautiful to do it this style, because you're like, wow, I needed that. Is it all lost? Mm-hmm. No, John, you guys can repair it, right? No. It's not all lost. What it is you're on the sidelines playing Sherlock Holmes, trying to put puzzle pieces together, trying to string together narratives to get her back. The reality is you got to get yourself back on deck. You got to get to a point, if she does come back, you're not going to be on bended knee going, oh my God, I'm so happy you're back. You're going to be like, okay, I got to think about it. Have you seen or helped anybody get someone back from a situation like this? Well, every situation's unique. So, this is a good question, actually. Everyone goes, oh, a classic rebound. It's not a classic rebound. Human beings are like fingerprints. They're all a little bit different. Susie compared to Kim, compared to Karen, all have a little, they all have low self-esteem. Okay. Roger that. But they like different guys. Right? So they obviously have different scenarios. Every human being is a little bit different. This is the problem right now on YouTube. Masculine versus feminine. Men and women do this. Women do that. Men do this. Yeah, well, some things will surprise you. Some things are not in the masculine, feminine thing when it's a relationship. Attraction's one thing. Relationships are another. So when you're like, have you seen this before? Well, I don't know. If we did a live coaching session, I can give you a lot more detailed answers. And the one that I would start with is, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your attraction to her? On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your connection? On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your trust? And I would ask you, if you know so much about her, what do you think her answers would be that about you? And you still haven't mentioned, why did she break up with you? What did she tell you? You haven't mentioned once, like, what happened in the end? It's just about the rebound. You haven't mentioned, I'm not in love with you anymore. This isn't just working. And those are like, oh, well, we just broke up. No, what happened? You're not showing all the cards. You're just like, well, just tell me how to get her back. Well, so getting someone back in this situation, I'll be honest, I've had clients get back with their exes. I've never taken credit for that. Okay? Because there's not a one size fits all or a recipe. That being said, I've helped people get back on deck for themselves, and I'm more proud of that than just getting your ex back, and that's what you need to do. I'm scared. I'm worried. I'm covert stalking them online. I would like to help you get out of that mode, because even if she does come back, you're going to sabotage it. I'm in no contact right now, 45 days. Don't plan on breaking anytime. Excellent. That's a great move. Congratulations. That's what I would probably tell you to do. It's not easy. It's messed up, and you just make it 10 times worse if you watch on social media. But I don't even know what to think about this new relationship. Well, you do, because you're assuming that it's a rebound, but it's kind of not a rebound. Plus, I know my ex's best friend who set her up with this new guy didn't like me at all. She said I was trying to change my ex, which wasn't true. Okay. All right. Well, finally we have something that was about you. She had low self-esteem issues, which is a negative thing that you just mentioned about her. So, maybe it's a little bit true that you tried to change her. But if you tried to change her in a good way, you probably thought it was positive. Best friends don't like boyfriends and girlfriends all the time. They get jealous. They get protective. This isn't any kind of new narrative. She said that I was trying to change my ex, which wasn't true. The problem is that my ex is a people pleaser. Okay, so you've called her low self-esteem and a people pleaser and listened more to this friend than me. Okay? According to you. You know what I mean? And it's possible. Some people are impressionable to their friends. I've talked about this in other videos. That's not something that you're going to win. You're not going to go, you should listen to me over your friend. It's a choice they make. And there's no wrong or right here. You're like, well, I'm the one that she should be listening to, according to you. The problem is that my ex is like I said, there are so many factors against me. I'm at a loss at how even to try to get my ex back from this. Well, here's the answer, bro. You need to go Rocky on this. You need to go into training and just work on yourself and plan for the next bout, man. Mm-hmm. And it might not be with her, but you need, like, the classic, you need to work on yourself. The reason I don't like that statement is it's not very specific. Okay? Everyone goes, work on yourself. It's like, well, this is what I like in a live coaching. Like, what do you need to work on? Is it the gym, your body? Is it, a lot of times more than the gym, it's limited beliefs. Or the fact that you're chasing someone that you view as having low self-esteem and a people pleaser, and you're like, as if you're going to do her a favor when you get back with her and fix those things. The question is, what's your issues? What's your shit in the mirror? I don't know if that makes sense. What's your shit in the mirror? But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I keep going over why I don't think this is a rebound, then why it's definitely a rebound. All right, so this is what you do with that. It's very simple. It's called EFT. It's emotional freedom technique. You just go, even though I know this is a rebound, I'm okay. You just got to accept one or the other. That's all. You got to accept one or the other. You're not, by the way, neither one is right or wrong, and you'll never know. Okay? Rebounds aren't that identifiable. And this is something I would suggest we do a live coaching session. I can help you out with that. Because what you're doing is you're playing a game of ping pong in your head and no one wins. The new guy is good. All right, so definitely a rebound, but it does not help at all. Like I said earlier, there are too many things that I see, and it just kills me inside. So you're lost, you're scared. So these are all things you need to deal with on your own. You're not accepting the breakup is the problem. You're looking for ways to not accept it. Mm-hmm. I keep playing what I know. This is where I could help you. Before you can ever get back together, you have to accept that this breakup happened outside of just being a rebound. The new guy is good, not just a random person. Families or friends connect. This was set up by the best friend or husband. This was set up by the best friend and her husband. New guy is best friends with the husband. So there's a lot of things. See how they were all friends and connected? Yeah, but I don't know why you do. I never had these personal connections with the family and friends like this new guy already has. In fact, the best friend didn't like me at all because she thought I was trying to change my ex. So you mentioned that already. So at the very last paragraph, I know this is a little fragmented here for the people in fact, the best friend didn't like me at all because she thought I was trying to change my ex. Not true at all, but my ex believed her because... So if we were in a live coaching session, I'd go, what's the scenarios? Like what specifically? Break it down to me where you tried to change her and where you were accused of it and why it wasn't true or was true. You're saying she's a people pleaser and struggles to make tough decisions on her own. So why do you want her back? Those are pretty negative things to say about a girlfriend. I realized where I went wrong in the relationship, but that's because I figured it out myself. My ex never communicated her issues with me. So it's her or you. So where did you go wrong? You're not mentioning it. If I had known that they were problems, I would have completely changed, but I had no idea. That's what stings, is that's why I'd like another shot. You still haven't divulged to me what the problems were, because I know we can work things out. Well, that's a statement that's not true. You want to know that. Okay? She's with someone else. So, however, I don't know that I'll ever get a chance because this new guy and the dynamics involved. Highly recommend a live coaching session, my friend. All right, we got 7 on deck. I'm going to get into the chat a little bit. If you have a breakup story you want me to review for you, put it in at rightmac.com, or if you want to book a session. Oh, Johnny's got some serious stuff going on here. Let's check it out. Any questions? Go ahead and shoot. Laffy Quince is on deck? Wow.
Yeah, Laffy.
Oh, Laffy Quince with the hamster. That photo's priceless, isn't it?
What is it?
Do you see it?
No.
It's like a little hamster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably attraction because we still see each other, but just didn't get back to be the same. Tired of waiting in our relationship for us to have one. So she says she doesn't want to have one. She says she feels like we're floating in our relationship and there's no progression in moving forward. Like, I don't talk about future plans like marriage, baby. She doesn't want to be the only one that brings it up, the future stuff. I tell her if it's not that, I don't want a child when I don't bring up a future talk. It's just not on my mind most of the time. I'm taking things day by day. Oh, yeah, thank you for the idea. If texting out my thoughts when we're arguing, it does help and help me gather my thoughts. Well, good. Oh, Johnny's talking about, I mentioned this before. This is not something that I saw in someone's video or something. It's something that I've come up with myself. Trademark it, where you can use text in person. Why would you do that? It eliminates tone and has a little less emotion. And everyone's used to texting anyways. So if you sit there and go, show them the message, and it gives you a little bit of time, you don't get interrupted. It's another thing that happens in fights and arguments. Yeah. So I'm glad that's working for you, Johnny. Beliefs plus emotions, attitude. Oh, Johnny, I would just ask you, I think I kind of know the answer because I know your situation a bit. You know, I have a good memory. You've done a coaching session before and you come on and you've shared some things. I don't think you want to get married to her anytime soon. You haven't said that. You're just like, well, I just taking it day by day. You're just going around it, right? You've been together for a few years. It's one thing when you're with someone like a year, maybe 2 years. Age counts.
Sure. Yeah.
Early 30s is a sweet spot for women, no pun intended. You know, that they, about 32 to like 36, the biological clock's ticking. That's absolute truth. If they're in a relationship and they want to have kids, there's a little bit more urgency, and it's completely understandable. And if the guy's not on deck for it, it's okay also. I've had clients before where she's like, I don't get it. Why is that? He's not, you don't want to force him to be a dad. This isn't gun to the head negotiations.
Shouldn't be like that. No.
Right. So it's unfortunate that you're not on the same page. I think this day and age, if you don't have your money right and you live in a major city, especially in America with inflation and stuff, it's tough. You know, there's a lot of variables there. But I'd say if that conversation started now, oh, Johnny, it's not going away. In my experience in doing this and coaching females, it's not going away. It's going to be a pit bull with lockjaw on that topic. That'll come up again and again and again. And you got to come up with why you don't want to do it for yourself. This is what I would do, Johnny. Journal out why, Johnny doesn't want to do this. I don't want to have kids because. And then say, I don't want to have kids because I don't have enough money right now. I don't have enough money right. And then you take the next sentence and you go, I don't have enough money right now because I'm waiting for a promotion in a year. I don't have a promotion. I don't have, go to the next thought. And then go, I want to have kids. Even if you don't want to have kids right now, write out, I want to have kids right now because. And if you can't come up with anything, you really don't want to have them.
Really don't.
Right. But it's really an interesting way to, I think it's in one of these books I have right here, Heal Yourself. Yeah, it's just a clean, easy exercise to get clear on what your thinking is. But you just go, like I said, you take both sides, even though you're not on both sides. Marriage, I don't want to get married because, and then write everything that comes up. I don't want to get married because she's always nagging me. She needs help. She needs help because she has emotional issues that I can't help her with. Like, go through it and then go, I do want to get married to her because she's a good person. She has a good job. And then go through those and compare the two.
Just allows you to see a different perspective.
Right. Yeah. Right. Rather than I shouldn't. And that's a good way to look at it. And then you can get clear and then you can go, this is really why. Because sometimes stuff comes up and you're like, oh shit. Wow. That's really why. Like, I didn't know that was one of the reasons. It's hidden in your subconscious. Trauma bond, definitely illusion. Reality can hurt us. What's up, Clutch? A lot of reasons is my finances. Okay, but all right, well, let's just break this down for a minute.
That's a big one.
It is a big one, dude, especially with kids. Certain places in the world are really expensive right now.
Yeah.
So a lot of my okay, so let's just put finances to the side. Let's just say that Johnny just hit the lottery, and would it change things? Would you be like, all right, let's have a kid and get married right now? And I'd ask you, is there some finish lines ahead in the future where you're like, in a year or 2 or 3 years, I'm going to be making a lot more money, and then I could maybe see this, right? Some interesting trafficking facts in Mexico. You can buy a child for around $5,000. That's cheap for a real child. Is that a joke, or is that something you think is absolutely true? See, this is what happens in the news, right? You read something online, and then someone from Mexico gets offended. You know what I mean? Because they're like, if I was living there, I'd be like, dude, that's not true. Mm-hmm. It happens to me living in Thailand. It's like people will go, oh yeah, would you see that on the news? And they'll go, oh yeah, that's part of Thailand. It's like, no, you just saw that on the news, and it's one situation. It might not even be true.
It's sensationalized on the news, so yeah. A lot of times.
Is it possible that happens? Yeah, but is that an export of Mexico? I don't know if I would put that on them. That's pretty tough for a whole nation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Sabina, I respect your opinion. I know you're an intelligent individual, and I know you're well-read and researched. So when the UN conference says something like that, right? How is it true? How do they get that data? Do they have an undercover person find out that information? Not saying it's not true. I'm just saying, I'm just curious when that comes up. She says she doesn't want to be pushing out a baby at 35 when we keep having this. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Johnny, women from about 33 to 36. I've had a client, she was 33, 34, broke up with her boyfriend. They were in a pretty good relationship, and it ended it. She just couldn't deal with it anymore. And so this is a real thing. That's not just your girlfriend or your wife. I'm not sure if you're not married yet. So it's a real thing. So what I would say is what's holding you back other than finances, and don't do it if you don't want to, if you're not comfortable with it, because it's a lot harder to turn back after you do that.
Mm-hmm.
You asked Sabina, not the poli-sci major, Mac, about what? Where you get this information? This isn't the first time we had this convo. I'm just never had help to navigate through it. Yeah, I mean, to me, that's got to be a hell yeah, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's got to be a, and if it happened by chance, then you deal with it. Okay, like you're a man about it. You deal with it and you work through it. But if something's holding you back, and I would add too, if your relationship right now is off and on, kind of skirting, you're not getting along. I don't think a kid will make it better in most cases. And if your finances are a little bit tight and you don't see like, oh, in a year we'll be, some couples are like, in a year I'll hit my,
we'll have it locked down.
Yeah, I've had clients that are like, but in about 2 years I'll have this, and I have a rental property, and you know what I mean? Like, so there's some things in the pipeline. If you're like, I don't really see that anytime soon, and the thing is, the woman can't see. It's like, well, make it happen. She might be like, well, you need to make it happen. Some people have told me before, well, once you have a kid, then you make it happen. Okay, I believe you. I mean, like,
can be a motivating, like,
factor. Motivating fact. Yeah, I'm okay with that. But I'm saying, at the flip side, if you're being held back, I mean, what's holding back from having a baby other than the finances? Yeah, me, he says. They have info from taking kids' parents. It's international investors, so I believe they show videos of hidden cameras, people undercover buying kids. Wow.
Okay.
Wow. I mean, interesting thing to bring up here. I don't know where that one came from, but it happens, right? Kidnappings are very, very more common than you think.
I think especially in Mexico.
Right, because of you just think of the Denzel Washington movie right away, right? Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Chrissy.
That's right.
Christy.
Man on fire, that's right.
Yeah, that's a tough one, Johnny. I would just say that I'm just telling you right now, it's not going away. That's not one of those things you're like, oh, we'll talk about it later. Biological clock's ticking, it's no joke.
Mm-mm.
And you gotta, as a guy, you don't have a time clock.
No.
I know guys.
70, you can be.
I know guys that, I've met guys that are in their 60s. They're like, yeah, we're having a kid. You're like, Jesus. Mm-hmm. Clint Eastwood, I think his last kid was in his 70s. Mm-hmm. Look up Clint Eastwood's body of work. That's a fucking sire.
Dude.
Have you seen it on Wikipedia or something?
Yeah.
He's got like 7 or 8 kids with like 3 or 4 different women. And I think he's in his 90s with a couple kids in their teens. He's got his oldest kid's like 40 something. His youngest kid's like 12. I got to look it up, man. Okay, to answer your question, Mac, there are humanitarian groups that fight human trafficking. They usually collect this data from the people they rescue. Cartels and okay.
Oh,
I'm just saying, I like to have a little bit of details when people throw out, like, oh, this is this is a fact. I'm skeptic, but I'm open. I'm open to interpretation. That's all. I just don't like when someone's like, "Oh, science backs this and that," and they don't even have any of the. What was the study about? Who was studied? You know what I mean? Like, Marcos just came with it, and he's like, "There are humanitarian groups, not necessarily this one, right?" So, and unfortunately, like I said, someone reads that and they go, "Oh, in Mexico, everyone's selling their kids for $5,000. No, that's not what was said. You know what I mean? Right? Someone goes and says it, you're like, no, don't quote me on 5,000 number, but I wouldn't be surprised if that. That's what I'm saying. Someone throws it out there and then everyone goes, oh, yeah. They do for breakup stuff. It's like, this stuff can't be measured. It's like there's so many people, that Pearl that I did a review on, 70% of women leave the marriage first. It's like, where did that come from? Yeah, no, it's true. It's like, where's the study? There's no way that could be fucking accurate.
Where are they pulling the people from?
Well, because you wouldn't be able to study everyone in America. It would have to be a what's up, Trudy? It would have to be, I don't know, 2,000 people, and then you're gonna get 2,000 people from the same. It's ridiculous. And then someone that gets in a divorce, like I said, if someone goes, oh, I'm the one that left. Oh, that's convenient. Maybe he left you and you don't want anyone to know. It's like, he said, she said on a study of science? Give me a break. Why are we even, you know what I mean? Divorces can be, it's like you can say divorces. How the divorces went down? Good luck. 2 sides and then the truth. Come on, man. That's like, and they go, no, I'm serious. 70, 80%. Where'd you read that? Oh, I saw it in a study. Oh, what's the study's name? I don't know. It's not in the notes. Deal with individuals, man. People are ridiculous. Call my ex. We need to get back together. The social sciences said so. Man, you're better off following astrology. At least then you know what I mean? It's like when I started doing some of these reviews, I'll be honest, I didn't watch a lot of other stuff. And then I started doing these reviews for the reaction videos. I'm like, all right, check these out. And I'm like, people eat this shit up. Oh, and then there's 20% of this. What? Mac, am I wrong for not bringing up the marriage and future plans? She hates being only one talking. Dude, you're not interested. Okay? So there's a lot of guys. I think you're in your early 30s. You're not ready financially. Okay? And guess who you're talking to? I'm 41. I don't got kids. I've never been married. Okay? So if you want my perspective, it's the choice, man. Have I been close a couple times? Yeah. I had a girlfriend that lost a kid, and that wasn't fun. It wasn't planned, but I was up for it because we were together for a long time. And I considered marriage briefly, not because of the kids. But you know what? A lot of people in this day and age right now, things have changed, and you're not excited about it. Don't fucking do it. And you guys have some problems. You don't get along that great sometimes, right? To me, if you got finances and you're with someone long term, why wouldn't you have kids? I think finances is a legitimate reason to be hesitant about having kids. Like I said, that being said, people usually figure it out. But if you feel like, oh, I should be bringing this up, wouldn't you? I've talked to you before. I mean, you're a pretty smart guy. I don't talk to dumb people usually on my channel. That's a biased statement, but I'm just telling the truth. So, if you're like, should I have? You would have. I mean, the question is, even if it wasn't her, are you just not interested in marriage? You know what I mean? Do you believe in marriage? Have you had a lot of divorces around you? And the other thing is, this is going to sound very surface based. Do you like kids? I told B this, and B was like, that was a good question, actually, because it's like some people, you know what I mean? Some people are like, I just don't like kids. I don't ever want them. Then don't. And then there's the guy, he has 2 kids already. He doesn't want kids. I've had a lot of clients that were females that were like, I want a kid, but he has 2 already. And I go, well, he probably just doesn't want to go through it again, and he doesn't want to start a new family. I want children. It's just not my main focus, but if we have one, I'll be happy and make it work. Well, there you go. Yeah, I believe in marriage. Well, you don't believe in marriage with her, it sounds like. Or you would have already said it. So there's something that's holding you back. You know that better than I do. And if you guys want, maybe you go, hey, maybe we go to a marriage counselor, or I mean a couples counselor before we consider this further. Maybe you do that. But this idea that you should be thinking that, someone planted that seed. I think I know who. Right? Right. If you believe in marriage and believe in, you know what I mean? Guys and men are a little bit more scared because it's game over, man. And that's okay. That's okay. I believe that if you believe in marriage and you believe in having kids, I'm not one of those that's like, oh man, you're crazy. Oh, marriage is, I mean, it's your prerogative, man. It's a good concept when it works. Right? I've often said there would be nice to be an alternative. Right? 4-year sex contract. I had a whole show on that. I've talked about that before. You look at marriage, it's the love pension, man. Right? It's a long game.
Just renew it every 4 years? Or
I would say this, like if you've been together for 4 or 5 years and you kind of know her in and outs, and she's kind of locked into a career, and she's not going to change too much probably. There's certain careers and jobs that make you change sometimes. Or, you know, I've changed since I've done coaching. I've dealt with so many people since doing hypnotherapy. I've changed through that. Some people aren't going to change, so you know what you're getting into. And it's not always true, but take a good look at her parents, because there's a lot of narratives that will be followed, especially as a parent. So if you're thinking about having kids and getting married. Have you witnessed her around other kids? Is she good around her nieces and nephews? Stuff like that. It's Leandra. No more incognito, and I'm great. Thanks. Loving your critical thinking as always. Right on, Trudy.
Leandra.
Yeah. I always knew you as Leandra, too. Love pension. That acts like the '08 market crash in the 50% of situations. I don't get it. Do you get it? Love pension. That acts like the '08 market crash in 50% of the situations. Explain to me. Many couples spend a lot of time together. They then want kids, trying to have it, and actually they can't have it. Reproduction issues.
Yeah.
I mean, she says things like she's losing the desire to have children with me. She's saying next gyne appointment she's going to go back to on birth control. All right, so you've been trying? That's a different thing.
Or that she's just tired of waiting.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like I said, do this, and you're not going to do this on the comments, but like I said, a really good practice is I want to marry her because, and then just start writing. I want to marry her because this, I want to marry her because that. I don't want to marry her because I don't want to marry her because I don't want to have kids with her.
Right.
See how that's more specific than I do want to have kids. I do want to get married. And that's a hard thing to, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Pensions are meant to pay off. I say the love pension is likely to tank in half of the situations.
Right,
okay.
right.
Yeah, sure. I'm not saying, well, yeah. My reason for calling it a love pension was a lot of jobs that have pensions, right? My father had one. B, your dad had one. They're always looking towards the pension. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, when I get my pension, and they stick with the job, then in most cases, not always, dare I say, and this might, and I don't mean this in any offensive way, this is a little bit of a mediocre, you know what I mean by that? Job, and they're okay with it, because I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind having some of those jobs sometimes, right?
Where you're guaranteed.
You just know you just know what you're getting.
Yeah.
You got benefits, you got all those things, but the job gets redundant because you do the job for 30 years,
Sure,
25 years. See how the marriage thing correlates here? So by 20 to 30 years into it, you're not leaving because you're going to get that pension. And look at it, marriage really pays off if you're in your late 60s and you've been together 30 years and you're like, yeah, it's nice to know each other. Now, saying that, if you've been around couples in that age group, what's really interesting about that is the woman usually rules the roost, getting the guy back for when she was younger. The guy, and they bicker and they argue, but they're together.
Right.
And I think being together in your 60s, 70s, 80s is a love pension, right? I mean, it's seems ideal. I remember my great grandmother, in her 70s, she lived till 94.
Okay.
Yeah, great grandmother from France, Madeline. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. She said her prayers every night. You could hear her in her room saying like, "Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." She had her little rosaries.
Wow, you got it. Okay.
Yeah, I grew up Catholic, and but she had met her third husband like in her 70s, and they would just go to Golden Gate Park, read the newspaper,
just hang out together,
and like, I mean, it's just, they would. Well, she kind of ruled the roost, but bicker a little bit. But it was just a nice thing that they had each other, man. Like, and he died at like 91, and then she moved in with us like 2 years after. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like, being married when you're in that age group and sharing those kinds of things is ideal. And what's happened now is there's some guys now that like in their 60s or 70s end up with younger women, and which is fine, but I think that those relationships don't play out as well long term as the ones that people are in their age range.
Because you're usually not on the same level.
Well,
right?
I mean,
it can happen.
Well, let's say the guy's like, I've had a client like this. The guy's like 62,
right? And
she's like, no, I had one like this, like 65, and she was like 35 when she met him, and she's like, I didn't I didn't want the visa. Everyone just thought I wanted the visa, and I'm like, well, you just told me you wanted the visa by saying that, okay? Who stole the cookie from the cookie jar, right? Mom, I didn't take it. Mom, I didn't take any cookies. I didn't ask you, hon. All right? It's like, right when she said that, I'm like, well, you just gave it away. Yeah, everyone thinks that. I'm like, well, I mean, you had a 30-year age gap, and now you're wondering, and then the guy was in his 70s when she contacted me, and she's like, he's just gotten so old so quick. It's like, yeah, well, I mean,
it happens.
Seems like you didn't look very far for the future, right? Right? And she's like, like, we can't do anything anymore and stuff like that. It's like, well, here's the thing. It's all a trade-off, right? It's like you wanted a visa. You probably wanted a low-maintenance guy.
Maybe
that was reliable. An older guy is, in that age,
probably secure financially.
You're not going to worry about him cheating,
right?
Stuff like that. So there's some valuable things to it, right? Johnny asked Mac to have a call on the live stream once and talk about it. Johnny, you want to go live on the live stream? But it's like she's saying that blocked me from getting her pregnant. Like in her mind, she's thinking I'm going to resent her or something. Well, she wants to get a reaction out of you, right? People, women test you or women try things.
She's trying to push him in that direction.
It's like I've been in relationships before where it was like, oh, I just went to the beach and some guy hit on me. Cool. It's like trying to get me jealous or something. You know what I mean? It's those kinds of things. Cool. You trying to get me to
like have a reaction,
jump on one side of the fence from doing that. And for some people it doesn't work. And like I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't seem like it's the right time for you. So, there's a lot of guys that have done that. And, once you're locked in, man. I don't know if I can do it on, I'll have to figure that out. I'll have to, using live stream, I've never done it. I used to have the thing set up through Skype. I don't think I could do it today. Johnny, let me just ask you this, and this might sound redundant because you've heard me say this before, but it's a good starting point. And this is, again, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your attraction? On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your trust? On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your connection and chemistry? On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your intimacy? Now, if you want to share those on the live stream, you can. If you don't, it's okay. Especially the intimacy, maybe, because I think you use your real name. But which is no judgment. But that's just a good place to see where you're at, dude. Do you know what I mean? Like, I do it when I'm in relationships now because I'm like, it's just kind of, if you're honest with yourself, sometimes you're surprised. And most people aren't all 10s. I'm not saying that. Trust should be a 10 if you're going to get married. It should be like a fucking solid 10.
Marriage with kids? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It should be it shouldn't even be a 9. Like, and the funny thing about trust, it doesn't really vary. Attraction varies.
Yeah.
Connection can vary. Like, those numbers can be like, someone can go, 6 to 7, 6 to 8 or something like that. Like, the intimacy. And then some people are like, they're 10s. What happens with some guys, though, when they're 10s all the way around, it's like, did she feel the same way? Right?
Right.
It's like the guys that are obsessed, it's like, she's a 10. Did she think that about you? What's up, Odd Carlo? Ex on dating app while being in a relationship, sign of disloyalty?
Yeah.
Ex on a dating app while being in a relationship.
Yeah, if you're on a dating app in a relationship.
So you know that your ex is on a dating app so you know that she's in a relationship and she's on a dating app. How do you know? And was that by chance? I think you want to hear one of the worst ones I've ever heard was there was a guy that was, I think he was like late 30s, and he had a girlfriend that was like 21. Right, so the age gap's not that. The interesting thing about when I was talking about like 60s to 30s, this is an interesting age gap because a lot of times, I mean, you're in your mid 30s, I'm early 40s, I still feel young, right? Like, I don't feel that old or anything.
But when you're 70,
right? Yeah. So like, he's like, dude, she's 21 or 22. They were together for like 2 years, so he met her at like 18, 19.
Oh wow.
right, on a dating app. And he was like, he had a business, he had some things going for him. He was a mature guy, right? And like nothing really got to him that, you know, she's still pretty young, right? And so they broke up, and it was a shocker, and it hurt him, and it upset him because he was like, dude, we did everything with, you know, family together, this and that. And I'm like, you know, the elephant's in the room. She lacks some life experience. She probably wants to hook up with some other dudes before she dies. Like I've said this. Do you understand what I mean by
21? Yeah, you're
even though
you want to experience
like there's this whole narrative on these videos. Oh, these women are just hoes. They're hoe stage. It's like, I think there's just a narrative out there for men or women when they're 21, 22, within Western culture. Like, I'd like to see what it is like to date multiple people or sleep with.
You want to experience life a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think if a woman got to like 26, 27 and she had a body count of like 10 or something like that, she's an automatic hoe.
No.
It's like, whatever. She wants to sow her oats too, fine. Okay? But you're probably like, you're 21, 22, man or woman, whoever you're with, it's going to be hard to be like, oh, yep, I'm going to marry this person, right? There's going to be people that are younger are more impulsive. They're more selfish. That's just a fact. Look at little kids, right? They're impulsive and they're a little bit selfish. It's just how they are. So he breaks up, right? We had a long session. We had a good session. We talked about it. We aired a bunch of things out. It was really good. And then he texted me back and he was like, dude, it's over. I'm done. I'm like, what? What happened, you know? And he's like, I saw her on a dating app. Yeah, they're both single.
Yeah, they're okay.
And she's like, I'm looking for a new daddy to take care of me. And he had said she had some dad issues and stuff like that. But like, she liked older guys. And he read that in the dating app. And
but she was kind of hiding that fact?
No, I don't know if she was hiding it or not. But like, it's one thing when you spot your ex-girl on a dating app. It's another thing to say something like that. And that was your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right? It's curtains. But it's also like, what you like, you know what I mean? Like people's house like, whoa. It's like that shit happens, right? There's another guy I knew. There's been a couple of these, but one guy that he wasn't over his ex for like a couple years because he had come back to me a couple different times. Was pretty open about it. And he's like, yeah, she's on OnlyFans now. And I was like, well, at least you're not watching OnlyFans, you know what I mean? But, and the ironic thing was, he was ex-military in good shape, you know, like took care of himself, was really into the gym and stuff. And he'd be like, dude, she's a little bit fat. He one of his issues with her, he complained about her body and her not taking care of herself. And so when he said she was on OnlyFans, he was like, kind of surprised. And I was like, well, I mean, you know,
attraction varies.
It does, man. It does. That's why where there's this thing like, oh, it's weight. Oh, it's this. It's not weight, dude. It's like there's plenty of guys that, there's plenty of women that like dad bodies or whatever they call it.
I mean, unless you're, you know, really unhealthy or something, you know, like obese. And
that's funny thing about her wanting a baby. We don't have sex like that. And she made a slick comment saying like, oh, well, I don't go all the way with it, meaning shooting up her club. There's some hidden meaning in there I'm not getting. I've seen Alfie before, a long time ago. You know Alfie with Jude Law?
Oh yeah, that one where he's like a kind of like a ladies' man type of thing.
A ladies' man,
is that what it is, right?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Clutch, you've mentioned this before, but I forgot the line. Just go ahead and say what it said. That could be all fake dating apps description of people's. Maybe at some point the ex declares she is or wants an open relationship. If we had it on the regular, she probably would have been pregnant, maybe. But honestly, when she said that she feels like one bullseye and she's gonna get pregnant, I get you, bud. Well, bottom line is you still didn't answer the question. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your attraction? On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your trust? What's your connection? And what's your, I would say intimacy could be separate, but obviously intimacy is probably a 5 or 4. Son, whenever you see a beautiful woman, just remember somewhere out there there's a bloke that's sick of shagging her. Well, that's a comment that, I haven't heard it say in the English tone, but yeah, someone's over it. I've been one of those guys. Right? And I'm sure women have the same comment, right? And then someone will go, well, you still have to date your woman. You still have to date your man. Yeah, I get that, but sometimes it still doesn't. You know, if you've been in a long relationship and you've been like, oh, let's go, I remember doing some things like going to Carmel or going somewhere, special or Tahoe, but it's still stale when it's stale. You know,
even
like
in a cool place,
right? Yeah. You know what I mean, right? Nothing's gonna get back to the point when you first dated and it was fresh and it was fun. Now, I would say there's certain couples that can overcome that.
Yeah.
You know, and those are the ones that make you cringe sometimes. Right? Like you're like, oh, they're so happy together. This has got to be fake. But the majority, you know why it is because you have so many layers of, and you don't know this, of thin contempt where they did something and you're keeping track because you're not going to church, you're not doing meditation, you're not doing anything to relieve anything. So like if you're with someone for like 5-6 years, right? Then like
the amount of information that you have collected on them.
Does that make sense? You're like,
you
fucking threw the bottle out the window, the water bottle, you fucking litter. You know, like, and like you just keep track of these things, right? Like the reason I use that as an example, it's never happened to me, but I'm like, it's just something that would bother me.
Maybe not even like consciously, like always thinking. It's just your
so when you live together, when you're together a long time, it's layered. You never get a break. It's like if I had to write a relationship book, a whole chapter would be like, do a sabbatical for like 2 weeks every year.
Every year?
And don't talk. Like 2 weeks to a month to miss each other and rekindle the relationship. And like, don't talk. Don't talk. Or if I took it a step further, give each other a free pass to hook up with someone else. Now that one probably wouldn't be the best one. Some couples could do it, right? And there's some variables involved in that are dirty.
Yeah, some couples could do it, but that's hard to go back.
Some people in the chat are like, oh my God, I would never, right? And the dudes are like, yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, sometimes you're like, okay, yeah, that'd be cool. But then once you do it and then it's happened, it's like, how do we go back from that? You know what I mean?
Well, you don't want to know who it is.
Yeah, you don't want to know. Just like the guy who wrote in just had all this information. You know what I mean?
Right. So I'm saying that I would say though, like if you get 2 weeks, but don't talk. Like don't talk.
Like no contact.
Like if you look at long-term relationships, there's something to be said for when men or women had business trips, or when I was a kid, my dad would regularly go on a fishing or hunting trip like for a weekend all the time. All the time. Like by himself. Or with me, or you know what I mean? Like no big deal. Just be away from the house. I remember my dad was always working long hours though too. I mean, but if you're around each other 24/7, I mean, you can't help it. Like we talked about this before. If you've ever had college roommates, you're sick of them. They're like a brother, but like then also they're susceptible to like doing something. You're like, yeah, we're not friends anymore. You didn't pay the rent, or you know what I mean? Right. All right, my attraction is 8-9. That's pretty good. That's carrying the day then. That's the reason you're in the relationship as a man a lot of times.
And the trust is a 10 too, he said.
Well, there you go, man. Get married, man. Have fucking 3 kids. Go for it. It's enough for me. That's pretty good though. If you have that, I mean, I'm assuming just knowing you and what you've told me before, the connection part is where you guys lack a little bit, I think. Connection and chemistry, like what you guys talk about and stuff, which can be worked on. And that has a lot to do, the connection part has a lot to do with what your jobs are. So like just in modern times, your job is what you talk about. So you come home from work 8 or 9 hours and you don't like your job, guess what? You're not going to have a lot of quality time where you're in a good mood. You kind of talked about this, right?
Yeah.
You're like, fuck. Here we go again. I've had a girlfriend before who just hated her job, but she wouldn't want to quit because it was decent enough money.
Yeah.
And then every night you're just like, bad mood.
Bad mood all the time.
Negative, bad mood, negative, bad mood, negative. And you're like, why don't you quit that job? Nah.
The money's good.
Having that open relation agreement is an invitation for temptation, not a guarantee, but an invitation. My thought is, why would you risk it? but each to their own. I think it's gonna. Here's the thing about an open relationship, right?
It's okay to be tempted in an open relationship.
All right, I've never had one, but I'll tell you this. I think someone loses.
Yeah. It sounds like.
Do you know what I mean? Because someone's. Here's the thing. Someone. This is what I always say is like it's uneven in a relationship, right? So, there's always usually someone in the relationship that has maybe more of a shot at attracting more.
Sure. Yeah.
Whether that's their job or their looks, and you're leaving because if you open the door, and this is the thing, if all things were equal and you had the equal opportunities, but you're opening the door for a better catch that's fresher. And,
that's probably
right. But you know, some people do it thinking mobbing to Texas at age 25, 26. What did you do when you moved to Asia? Need a visa?
Not to come here, but to move here. Yeah, you do. Well,
I mean, I don't know about Asia. It's a continent.
Well, Thailand specifically. I think as an American, you can come here for 30 days, I think.
Yeah, it's, Thailand would be.
Just check it out.
Yeah. Where are you at now, and why are you wanting to go to Texas? I mean, specifically, what's your at age 25? Like, are you gonna go? Yeah, answer questions. Go for it, Snowflake Jen.
A lot of people are moving to Texas, it seems like.
Any questions related to relationships or anything else? You could drop anything you want to ask. Go ahead. I've had a few clients that live in Austin and love it, especially in their 20s. It seems like kind of like the in play. Yeah. You know, I haven't been there, but there's, you know, it's
like
college town.
A lot of art, stuff like that.
Carlo, I don't know your situation, but I'd say moving is really good for you, man. I mean, moving to a new city, I think Clutch could talk about this too, living in a few different places and a few different countries. It's, how should I say this? You talk about evolving or...
It totally gives you a different perspective on things.
You'll be different for sure. Like living in the same place. Couldn't imagine if I lived in the same place I grew up in. It wasn't a bad place. It's the fucking Silicon Valley now.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean,
it's where fucking YouTube was invented and all that stuff.
And we had a lot of different cultures in our area too. So maybe we have a little bit of a different perspective than a lot of people. But yeah, just living in a different culture there's a lot of value in that.
Well, I even had like, I've talked about this before, living in San Diego compared to San Francisco is like two different states. So I would definitely suggest it. I think what it does, especially out of a breakup or you're kind of in a position where you're trying to figure things out, is when you move somewhere new, and I'm not saying you moved in with your cousin or something like, you know what I mean? When you move somewhere new, you got to figure out a lot of stuff. Like, you might have to, you have to get a place for rent. You got to figure out where you're going to eat. Everything's new.
Right.
So you don't really have time to like, oh, life sucks.
Right. Worry about those.
Oh, yeah, I hate my job. Everything's new. Everything's new. No, Johnny, I'm back in Thailand. I'm in Phuket. House looks nice and cheap. Where are you at now, Odd Carlo? For some reason, I didn't think you were in the States. I've seen you on before. You need money and good health, and all is easy. Well, isn't that it, huh, Sabina? Does money and good health equal happiness? That'd be a good question to ask.
I would start.
Isn't it interesting how many people, though, that get really rich are like, money doesn't make you happy?
Right, after like...
And you're like, and I'm like, try me. I'm already happy, so it would just fucking amplify it, right?
Right.
I'm not piddling in the street, but some of the people that are rich, it's like, you know why they're not happy? Probably how they got there. Right? It's like you got to the mountaintop, but you took a helicopter, dude. Norway, that's what I thought. That's what was in my head.
Norway to Texas? Norway to Texas?
And it's like, yeah, just Texas is a big fucking state. I'd choose a city, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would choose a city, man. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I have a cousin that moved to Houston. They seem to like it. Here's a motto I live by. There's a lot of quotes out there that people recycle. The amount of people that dick ride the hell out of Marcus Aurelius, like
Stoics.
It's like, great. Marcus Aurelius is great. You know, it's ironic. Would he find you stoic and impressive by using his quotes over and over again in your books? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Would Marcus Aurelius be like, wow, I'm really excited that you keep using my name and my quotes to make you look bigger? And I've used a couple of his quotes on my Instagram before. Like I've had a couple, but I'm saying like there's people that fucking live by it, man. Like it's like, well, Marcus Aurelius said. Ryan Holiday is one of them. He writes good books. Have you seen Ryan Holiday?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's his self-improvement. He wouldn't say he's self-improvement, but he writes books. He's done a lot of different stuff. But all he does now is like the stoic life, and he just Marcus Aurelius. It's like, all right, I think Marcus wouldn't be very impressed with this. It's like if he came back, would he go, oh my God, thanks for carrying on my work, Ryan Holiday. Thank you for using my name over and over again.
It's keeping the name alive, man. Come on.
Familiarity breeds contempt. Leandra, did you change your name back from Trudy?
Oh yeah.
We broke up again after reconciled. He didn't want to wait or work on the relationship anymore. The reconcile was a roller coaster. We were LDR for more than 1.5 years and broke up at the end of July. So what's the question, hon?
Okay.
I'm sorry. I said we broke up again after reconciled.
So they got back together.
All right. So he didn't want to wait to work on the relationship anymore. What were the problems, Snowflake Jen? Let's start with that. Be specific.
But it was up and down when they were trying to get.
We're doing a long live stream today. If you want to, we had a great relationship, deeply connected, emotionally, intelligently, and very much attracted. Sounds good to me. We had some brief breakups before, but reconciled within minutes because LDR is hard but can't let go of us. What's your perspective? I mean, honestly, I just need more details. The problem is my anxiety made our communication not work the way we want, and we had fights often. All right, so anxiety will be amplified by an LDR. So if you're going to be in long-distance relationships, you need to be highly secure and emotionally stable. So if that's an issue, what was triggering your anxiety? So anxiety's generally, there's a lot of people out there that, I just get anxiety. What's triggering it? There's,
And 1.5 years for LDR is pretty long, right? Like,
there's a shelf life for them.
Right.
I mean, it's an LDR. What I always say is, can you see each other once a month? Are you on different continents? Are you in different time zones? It's different. It's like, I had an LDR where I was in San Diego and she was in the Bay Area. That's not difficult. You can see each other once a month. You can talk in the same time zone, right? And what are the stipulations? Like, we can see other people. You know what I mean? Here's a big one on LDRs that doesn't get discussed a lot. Talked about this before too, right? Okay. If I move to New York City and you live in Nebraska, guess who loses? Because when I'm lonely, I have options, right? I'm just saying that there's certain areas when you're lonely, there's way more temptation, or if, he's going to a university that's a party school and you're, you know what I mean? So the circumstances count. Does that make sense? It's like, I've seen that before where that happens. Before the breakup, he realized he wants physical presence in this relationship. Yeah. Well, that's admirable.
He was probably
and didn't want to keep waiting or work on it. I know he still loves me in the way, but just gives up. But he just gives it up in a way. All right, so how often could you see each other and how far was the distance? See how this gets more and more specific? So what happens is someone just goes, oh, it was an LDR. They didn't care about me. I need more details. You might want to write it out and send it in. I think I'll be on long enough. We got 12 on deck. Before I felt guilty because my anxiety, so I kept fight. Now I really am hurt. Well, there's a difference. Where's your anxiety stem from? Are you always someone that has anxiety, or did the relationship cause anxiety? Yeah, I got to get this figured out how I could take a call. I would do the call right now for you. Leave studio, invite. maybe it's this easy. Maybe it's this easy just to invite. God, you think I was 80 with my internet skills? Sometimes it's like I've gotten a lot better too. Like,
you have gotten a little bit better.
Does this work where it says invite? All right, now we're getting somewhere, Snowflake Jen. I'm insecure. I had neglected my childhood. All right, well, join the club, man. There's a lot of people out there like that, and I don't mean that insensitively. I mean that sincerely. So you are not alone, as the great Michael Jackson said. And that's something you can work on. That's something you can work on. And the reason I said it that way, not to make it so, oh my God, you had neglect as a child, that there's a different perspective to take from it. How are you going to get through this? Right? We talked every day 4 hours before, spent a lot of time together. We had ideas about how to get together, but my country has strong restrictions, but NVR managed? What's NVR?
Never.
But never managed? Okay. Let me see this real quick.
So they did live in a different country.
Yep. So that says that it's pretty far.
That's far, possibly.
Hold on a sec here. Well, I can help you with this, Snowflake Jen, but you want to do a live coaching session, or you want to come on here? Hold on. Realizing that the childhood neglect is an issue is a good first step, though. It's not a bad thing. All right, I'm going to send this one to you, B, and we'll do a tester. See if you can open it on your email, and we'll see if we can get you on. How can I come on? I'm going to check right now. I think I can send you a link. Do you want to send your email, Coach Mac, to my email first? You don't want to give your email to everyone in the chat, probably. And before we get you on, it's going to be $500. No, I'm just I couldn't even keep a straight face. For emergency calls only. It's going to be $5. If it's an emergency call, we charge $500. If you want, like I said, send your email to Coach Mac, and we'll see if I can get you on. How does it come up, B?
Just as a link. I'm trying to get it up more.
And then you just click it?
Yeah.
And then I don't know how it comes into the chat, so let's see. Man, you guys are witnessing some 5 payments of $69.69. Yeah. I've just seen that at other coaches' sites. They're like, if it's an emergency call, we're just going to ding you another $300. You know what I mean? It's like, no. But it is true. Sometimes people email and they're like, I want to talk now. And actually, those people are kind of red flags because they're usually a little bit selfish. They're desperate in the sense that, like, just tell me how to get them back. It's like, well, I mean, I'm good, but I'm not that good, right? I'm not going to guarantee that you're going to get them back. I won't lie about that. I need to hear your situation. I'll help you out.
Yeah, just click the link and you should be good.
And it should just come on?
Yeah.
All right, hon. Did you send the I didn't get your email yet. Snowflake Jen. Can I call you Jen, please? What country goes by Snowflake Jen? I'm just curious. Is that a... Okay. She said just paying. Wow, this is a first time here on StreamYard podcast that we're going to have a live situation here at LDR. Let's see how it comes in. So I'm just sending you a link. Wow, this is exciting here.
What's up, roller girl?
Roller girl. Vegas.
Vegas.
She's in Vegas, yeah.
Like it. Asia.
Check your spam.
Yeah, check your spam folder.
I already sent it. Asia. We're both in Asia. So I wonder how this works. So if when I sent you that link, it just said for you to click it.
Yeah, and allow the whatever you're
And then
on.
I could add. Okay.
Allow the computer or whatever to access your mic.
This is exciting, man. Wow, this is breakthrough stuff here. I want to get my first caller on here. Iran is in Asia, but I get you. I think you just click it. I haven't done it before on StreamYard. So I don't know if it shows your picture right away or what, but you'll be a part of the,
We'll test it.
Right. We'll put your name on the bricks. Should I put my email ad there? I just emailed you back, Snowflake Jen. So whatever you emailed me, I emailed you the link back. So yeah, I just emailed you it back. What an interesting Mac slowly starts embracing the tech. Mac in 10 years acts like an alpha or you'll be terminated. Oh, what's up, Bernice, my Kiwi friend? Gotta love the Kiwis, hon. Kiwis are good people. People don't know what I mean. It's a New Zealander. Does it let you add the link? I'm waiting here. Anyone else that's got a question, relationship-wise or otherwise, go ahead and shoot. Feeling good today. Last couple of days, it's like last week here in Phuket, we had monsoon storms for 5 days with flooding. It was crazy. Good news is my house didn't flood, but it just kind of puts you in a mood when you can't leave the house when it rains like that. It's like it was raining so hard where you have to pull over the car. And now it was beautiful sunny skies. Burn, I have a weather question. I'm going to save it for tomorrow. No. Do people in New Zealand do the haka before a first date? Man, it's not coming in. What's going on, Snowflake? So when it came to UB, it just you just click it and then you should be in there. What's going on here? Oh, Johnny, you still on deck? Maybe I'll send you the link too. I don't know. Maybe some people, because this would come, you'd come through in the video, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I think you have the option of turning on just the mic and turning off the camera, so you don't have to show your face or whatever.
Would it be fun to date someone who could dance? I don't know. That reminds me, remember am I using Teams? No, because, Rye, this is StreamYard, not Zoom. So I don't think there is Teams. No, I'm using StreamYard.
You just started using this too, right? Not too long ago?
No,
Like a
yeah,
month ago,
I like
maybe?
Skype too. I like Skype quite a bit. I'm going to do, told you that Skype class that Zoom class for EFT, we'll be using Zoom.
So if anyone's interested.
Yeah, EFT class. You guys want to learn how to do emotional freedom technique. It's highly useful. It's good. It's going to be a good course. I don't have the flyer yet, but it's going to be probably 3 day.
Okay, it's late.
No worries, oh Johnny.
It's
I got
late.
you, bud. Hope it helped you. Man, you know it's funny when you air out stuff like he's airing out, like and everyone's like, oh, just leave, like just move on, start fresh. Like it's not that easy, man. It's like, you know what I mean? I totally get it. That's why I said
We've all done it.
Well, that's why I said you journal it out on those things. It's just not that easy. It's hard, man. It's hard when you live together too. That's why what you might want to do, oh Johnny, is just take a week. She might really piss her off if she wants to have kids and marriage, but take a week or 2 weeks if possible and stay with some family and just get away for a little bit and just collect your thoughts. Sometimes that really helps. The truth of love would scare them off, like Mike Myers. I don't know what happened to old Snowflake. What did you put for intimacy? I didn't see the intimacy.
No, I saw trust.
I saw trust and attraction, and I'm gonna say I used to say intimacy and attraction were similar. They're different. Do you see what I said about the intimacy? What was the other scale question? Okay, so it's higher up. Oh, okay. My intimacy scale is low though, like unless I'm trying to get some, but mostly I'll lay on the couch. We'll be next to each other and cuddle a little bit. Well, you can count that if you want to, because intimacy that's why I say intimacy is a wide range. That's why I like the word intimacy, because it can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Some people have some interesting things that are intimate, and I've heard them before. So, doing what I do, someone will go, oh, this might offend you. I'm like, I don't care.
I've heard it.
All right, we're gonna start getting guests then. Cool, man. Riflins at work. What do you do where you can listen to this? There used to be another lady that was on live streams quite a bit that would listen to the. What was her name? And then at the very end, she'd say, "Thanks for the stream," and she'd listen to the whole thing. Well, I mean, to be fair, intimacy is different for different people. So that's why I always make it, like I said, it's partly like using the word sex and like sexual acts, like for YouTube. Some of it's a little vulgar for some people. So the intimacies, yeah. But I would say that like touch counts, like hugging, cuddling, and it counts for different people. But, you just have to be honest with yourself. As a man, if it's... Men get to a point when a woman says no a lot. Right? When I mean by that, like, I'm not in the mood. I don't mean like, hey, I'm uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, I should clarify.
Longer you go in a relationship.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like where you get rejected and you've been together 5-6 years. Yeah. What guys will do is like, fuck it, I'll stop trying. Right. You know what I mean? Right? Like, I'm not going to, like, so they'll stop. I've talked to guys like this, and then they'll go, oh, she never wants to do it, and then they'll just stop trying because they've had like 4 or 5 times where she was like, just get off of, like, I don't want to right now, or this is all you care about. And then the guy ends up on porn, or he ends up hooking up with someone else, or he ends up just, loafing around about it, but he stops trying, and then she'll be like, you don't even try anymore. And then it just gets layered.
And it just snowballs.
Yeah, and it happens all the time. And then someone's like, oh, you just had to date her more. It's like, no. It's actually, like I said, people get these contempt, layers and layers of contempt, and then they get to a point and they're like, wow, we've only had sex once every 2 months, 3 months. I mean, I'd say that you have to be honest with yourself, like what you're happy with. You're 35, you're a healthy male. I mean, if it's taking work, because it's like, I haven't had this happen, but I've had people tell me where it's like, it's basically like intimacy is used as like this, like if you're good,
you can have some sex if you're good.
Yeah, sit. Maybe tomorrow. Never happened to me, but I mean, you know, like I said, I was back home in the Bay Area with like a mixed group of friends, and like their friends or something,
Right.
and I was like, you know, said something like, gets down to once a week or something. The guys just went quiet, and I remember going, oh, it's more than a week for them.
We're talking on months here, not weeks.
Yeah, I mean that's what it gets to, is like, you don't want. Yeah, well, had it once in 2 weeks in Jamaica. Now here's the thing: you could have some guy that has a YouTube channel like me that's in a relationship, and they go, "Oh, it's up to you."
Right.
If that's cool with you, I've got no judgment. If it was it better have been fucking outstanding though. Now I've been in relationships where it starts to in my own relationships where you start to have it less, and it's not even better. So if you're gonna have it like once a week, which is fine. Some people have busy schedules, right? Some people aren't as into it. If that's okay with you. Oh, she's on the chat. Oh, you were on for a minute, and then I just try it again, Snowflake Jen. If that's okay with you, fine. Don't let me dictate that.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, if you ever get in a new relationship and get in a new honeymoon phase, it's like, oh shit, I thought I lost it.
Yeah.
I've had that. I would go crazy with no sex for a week. All right. I think we can add you to the stream. Can you talk, Jen?
Yeah.
All right.
Right
We're
on.
live here. Wow, this is...
Yes.
All right, Jen.
Thank you so much for your stream.
No problem. Thanks for sharing. All right, so let's start from the top. What happened?
Or should we begin? Yeah, just like tell me.
All right, I'll help you. So how did you meet?
We meet online.
You met online, and how long have you been together prior to the breakup?
1 month and 1 year and 8 months.
1 year and 8 months.
Yes.
All right. So how long ago did you break up?
We broke up at the end of May. Now 3 or 4 months.
So you've been broken up for 3 or 4 months. You were together for about 1 year and 8 months.
Yes.
You got to mute the stream.
On YouTube.
On
Mute the stream.
Yeah. On YouTube, it says. That's what the comments are telling me.
Yeah, it's getting a little echo.
Thanks, guys. Sound check 1 2. I think that's.
I am not on.
So if you mute.
I'm not on YouTube right now.
I guess you could mute the stream then, but with that, that muted her.
Yeah, it could be speaker.
She needs to put YouTube on mute. Okay. Well, be a moment. Well, we know how to invite people on. Who's next? Wow, this is a major breakthrough here in 2022. Huh? And this is the thing, folks. When you have some things about you that are still limited beliefs or things that you're not great at, own them like I do.
Own them.
Yeah, it's like make a joke of it. It's fun. All right, don't make a big deal out of it. Like, oh my God, tech's so bad for me. It's like, no. I've gotten a lot better. Let's see if she comes back on and figures it out.
If not, we'll have to play with it later today.
No,
and
she
figure
just.
it out.
I think what they were saying is, you just have to mute the. I guess mute the YouTube. All right, let's see if we can get. Hello.
Hey.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry. It's
all
kind
good.
of my. I was just trying to be back to our teacher, so
You live in Asia.
yeah.
All right, me too. You know that, right? I live in,
Yeah. I've heard.
Yeah, I
I
live in
don't
Taiwan.
know the state.
All right, so you've been together a year. We'll do our best on this. There's still a little bit of an echo, but it might just be because of your phone or something like that. But they're saying that if you have YouTube on, then to mute the YouTube. But
I'm not on.
okay, so maybe it's just the phone. I'll do my best. All right, so you were together a year and 8 months. It was great for you. It was a really good relationship. How far away did he move?
We were living in different countries all time.
All right, so how far was it? What's the time
We
change?
live in Europe.
Okay.
I have been in Europe because of how my country haven't lifted the travel restriction yet. So we get into it.
All right, so then if the travel restriction is lifted, there is a chance that you could go there?
We kind of discussed that when we reconcile. But it's still gonna take some time because we are both in transition. It's gonna take like 6 or at least 6 months for us to work things out.
All right, so right now, 3 months out of the breakup, what were the major problems?
We reconcile and things get very messy because after we reconcile, we have some talk about the relationship and the breakup, and he kind of talk about things in a very light manner, and it kind of triggered me, and then I get a little bit emotional. And then we keep talking. He realized that he want more physical presence in his relationship life. And get there, he started choosing. He started want to be like best friend and stuff, not just friend, but best friend. You know. And then from there, we kind of wanted to take a step back, but I don't want to take the friend invitation. That's why I say one way or other. At the time, we kind of say a little bit goodbye. But then I said I miss him, so I text him I miss you, and then we kind of get into conversation again. And then he said we both know we want a relationship right now, and that's why we kind of back in the game. But it kind of feels like everything goes so fast and everything just get back in place so easily, you know. Because
All right, so what was the trigger that made you sensitive that's related to childhood neglect?
Being in a relationship is always not easy for me because I want attention. I love so much, but it didn't fall into the place I want, the way I want. I will fight a lot, tell them what I want, but usually didn't go the way I want.
So you want to control it.
Okay, so how old are you and how old is he?
26 and he's younger.
Okay, so you're pretty much on the same age range. That's good.
Yeah.
And so right now, what is it? If everything went right, how would that look?
We'll be living together and we'll be studying our job in tag industry.
Tag industry?
Yeah.
What's tag industry? I'm just curious.
Programming.
Okay, cool. So you're in the same field. Well, that's good to have that in common.
We are both transitioning. He's a little bit further in the progress than me.
Okay. And did either of you meet each other's families yet?
No, but he talks about listening.
Okay, because that's important. Being from different cultures sometimes, meeting each other's family is important.
Yeah, I'm kind of familiar with their lifestyle, and I have been there, and I don't feel like I have problem getting used to that kind of life.
Mm-hmm. So right now, you're currently not together, but you still talk?
We don't really talk because after he told me that I feel more hurt and disappointed.
So even if you wanted to go over there, you couldn't leave your country currently?
Yes, I cannot.
And there's no finish line on that, like in 2 months, in 3 months, or 4 months?
No. Just I'm living in China.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's going to be a problem regardless, and he's saying he wants a physical presence. And so currently you haven't talked in how long? There's been no contact.
Just less than a week. The last breakup is Wednesday. And something he said makes me feel like he would have likely to go into rebound because physical presence, you know.
Mm-hmm. And so what have you done this week to deal with it?
Just study harder and work harder. I didn't talk to him. Yeah,
okay.
I have been working on myself. Through a lot and emotionally, and he can see that too.
How can he see that?
He can see because when we start to talk, and he tell me like, wow, you changed so much, and he'll say something like, we can learn and grow together.
Well, that's good. All right. So 1 week you haven't talked. You're working on yourself. And if you were going to say maybe the top three specific things that you, a lot of times people go, I'm going to work on myself. Specifically, what are you going to work on? What do you want to work on?
Actually, it's not the past week. I have been in no contact for about 60 days, and then after that 60 days, we talked again, and that's where he saw my changes.
Okay, so he called you or you called him?
About what I he contacted me a few three times, and I wait. The sixth day of no contact, he with a very irrelevant question, and then after 58 days, we just begin to talk there.
Okay, and so it was a good talk, and now you haven't talked for a week. Correct?
Yeah. So about your question, mm-hmm. I will work on my anxiety. It has been a huge part. It's kind of like controlling my life and controlling my relationship as well.
Okay.
And a problem with neglect, the neglect is you feel unworthy, you know? That's why in your relationship you want stuff and you're also avoiding stuff, you know?
Okay.
And is like I don't know. That's the top two already very occupied.
So what do you do to combat your anxiety?
I read a lot and watch a lot of video about psychology and learn about fundamental things going on, and I go start conversation with myself to see what really going on. And trying to use those methods and techniques on myself to calm myself down, to put myself back in the right track.
Okay, so what methods have you used?
I watch a lot about a channel called the School Online. They talk about. I think the most is to understand what is really underlying under my anxiety and worthiness. And then I will write down a lot to like go deep into my story on my own experience. And then like keep a conversation with myself. But I kind of failed to do this day. So.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. If we were in a private session, I'd probably ask you to do a few different things, but I don't want to get too personal on the public stream. But right now, are you living with family? Are you living on your own? You have roommates?
I live alone before, and now I move back in my family a little bit. I'm gonna take some time.
And you get along with your family okay?
Sometimes it kind of a little bit roller coaster as well. Yeah, this one I want to shift my focus on building my relationship with my family.
You want to build a better relationship with your family.
Yeah, because it's important because it builds my perspective on love and being connect with people.
Right. And Asian culture is very important to be close to your parents. I know.
Asian culture is like kind of screw up in aspect of connecting with people.
Well, it's just different. It's just different. There's some good parts about it. You guys take care of your old people better. You have more respect for your family. So there's some good parts. I understand that, being in Asia a long time.
But you don't talk much, no.
But you're learning more things on the internet. But like I said, probably one of the things I would recommend is an easy thing to learn is EFT, the tapping technique. You can look that up, and we could do that. We could do that off the camera. That actually really helps with anxiety. It's very easy to do. Yeah, it's very easy to do. I could, if you, all right, let's do this. I'll do one quick session of it. It might be boring for the chat because you're not in it, but it works. So is there something what's the number one thing bothering you right now? Like your number one thing, like that's really on your mind.
If I'm able to make it into the tech industry,
okay,
about my future.
Okay, so if you're going to be able to make it in the tech industry, is that correct?
Yeah.
And what's the feeling? Is that like anxiety? Is that worry? Is that anger? Is that sadness? Fear?
If it didn't work out, just worry.
Worry, okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's the worry?
Maybe 6, 7.
6 or 7, okay. So what I want you to do is follow my lead. I can't see you on the camera, but it's very easy to follow my lead. But I'm going to show you these methods.
Sure.
Probably you being from China, you know the meridian points already with acupuncture and acupressure. So these are points, right?
Yeah,
maybe I just assumed that, but I thought maybe you'd know it. So this would be one spot. One spot's on the top of the head. One spot's right here. Can you see me okay, hon?
Yeah.
Okay. And then right here on the inside of the eyebrow, right here below the eye, right here below the nose, right here below the chin. And B's done this before, and he was actually surprised. He was like, oh, this actually feels good. And then there's underneath the armpit right here.
What's funny is you find a spot that maybe feels like the best.
Yeah.
Like I had one that was like maybe under my eye that felt really good.
But when you first show it to you, you're like, what the
right,
hell is this?
right.
Just trust me. I'm a professional. Okay.
Yeah.
So those are the spots. I'm going to do it so you can follow my lead. Okay. So even though I'm worried about my future in the tech industry, so you come up with a statement. And what you're doing here is a lot of times, and could be a reference for China too, even though it's like a ping pong game in your head. Well, what's my future? Am I going to make a lot of money? Am I going to do this? No, I can't do it. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Yes, I can. No, I can't. And you can't accept that you're just worried. You're just worried right now. So what this does is we're just going to, even though I'm worried about my future in the tech industry, I'm okay. I accept myself. That's going to be the statement. You're going to say it after me, okay?
Okay.
All right. So go ahead and tap right here on this little karate chop. And I'm not calling it a karate chop because you're in China.
Yeah.
This is, so you go, even though I'm worried about my future in the tech industry, I'm okay. I accept myself. Even though I'm worried about my future in the tech industry, I'm okay. I accept myself. Good. Tap on the top of your head right here.
Yeah.
And say, worried. Worried about my future right here on the side of the eyebrow.
Future.
Mm-hmm. right here on the inside of the eyebrow. I'm worried.
I'm worried.
And go ahead and say whatever comes to mind now.
Nothing.
Okay. I'm worried about my future.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Worried about my future.
I'm worried about what's going to happen in the tech industry.
I'm worried about what's gonna happen in the tech industry.
Mm-hmm. Worry.
Worry.
Right here where your collarbone is. Worry.
Worry.
Underneath your arm right here, and you can just use your whole hand. Worry. Even though I'm worried about my future in the tech industry, I'm okay.
And don't worry about the future in the tech industry. I'm okay.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
Even though I'm worried about my future in the tech industry, I'm okay. I accept myself.
And don't worry about the future in the industry. I'm okay.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
Flow it out. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your worry now?
Two or three.
2 or 3, right? So it went down a little bit. You hear how your voice was like, worry. Did you notice that? So really quick, do it one more time. Even though I'm worried about my future in the tech industry, I'm okay.
And don't worry about the future in the tech industry. I'm okay.
Even though I'm worried about my future in the tech industry, I'm okay.
And don't worry about the future in the tech industry. I'm okay.
Worried.
Worry.
Worried.
Worry.
Tech industry.
Industry.
Worried about my future.
Worry about my future.
Worried about my future.
Worry about my future.
Worried. Worried.
Worry.
Even though I'm worried about my future in the tech industry, I'm okay.
And don't worry about my future in the tech industry. I'm okay.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your worry?
I feel pretty fine. More grounded.
It's easy, right? Maybe that was boring for the people in the chat, but that's just how tapping works. That's it. So you just get the statement, and every time you're... So here's the thing. Jen, you'll be worried again. I'm not that good. I'm pretty good. I've used this myself in my own life, and what you're doing is you're just accepting that you're worried, and it calms you down. Those are meridian points that you're tapping, which actually should feel good in some spots, relax you. You noticed when you kind of went down here and you went down here, your voice went down, you relaxed a little bit, calmed down.
You could definitely hear that. Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. You can tell me if that's true. And so even with your ex-boyfriend right now, when you get really anxiety about it, you can go, even though I really miss him right now, I'm okay. I accept myself. All you're doing is you're accepting your feeling. So a lot of times before you can change anything, you have to accept it. It's really like one of those things that you'd think like everyone should know. You should learn this in school. So when the first time I learned it in a certification course I was doing with hypnotherapy, and I was like, I knew about EFT, I'd done it, but then I was like, oh shit. And this is what happens, Jen. I think it happened with you right now, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. Afterwards, you're kind of like, where'd it go? Like it's, you can't explain it, but it doesn't feel as heavy. You feel a little bit lighter. So what happens is you can use that for anything that you're worried about. Now, you're still going to have some anxiety and some problems, but when it comes up, like even if you have a headache, even though I have a headache right now, I'm okay. A big one where it works, even though I can't sleep right now, I'm okay. Because the biggest problem when you can't sleep is you saying I can't sleep.
Yeah.
You're not accepting it, right? You're not You're not accepting
that.
Right? So the thing about not being able to sleep, everyone's had it, right? I'm a pretty good sleeper, but like when I was a little kid, my dad would have a fishing trip and it'd be like, we have to get up at fucking 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. And I'd be like the night before, I'd be like, oh, I got to go to sleep. Because I'm going to have to wake up. Or I couldn't go to sleep because I was telling my mind, don't agree. So before you can go to sleep, you have to go, even though I can't sleep right now, I'm okay. So all that tapping does, and I'll email you like a little info on it. It's probably one of the best easy things to do for anxiety. Now, if your anxiety is due to a deeper problem like childhood neglect or abuse, then you have to get into that. Like, even though my mom was really mean to me when I was young, I'm okay. I love and accept myself. Now, you don't always have to use I love and accept myself, because some people don't. They find that heavy. I tend to use I'm okay, because okay is just neutral. It's just clean. Because all you really want to do is be okay with it, because you can't hide from it. So when you have something like a long distance relationship, a breakup, you got this anxiety, and you're really going through it. I had a client in Washington, D.C. that was a janitor.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, I'm going in the closet doing my EFT.
In the janitor's closet?
Yeah, and he's like, I'm just like half crying. I'm like, just get it out.
Just do it.
So what you notice is the emotion will come up sometimes. Sometimes you'll cry, or sometimes you'll have a yawn, or air will come up. That's why I like to blow out, and it'll help you. So this is something that's just an easy thing to do that could help you out when you're really having that anxiety problem. Was that helpful?
Thanks. Yeah, it's very helpful. I will practice it in the future.
Okay. Do you have any specific questions about your breakup?
I was thinking about rebound stuff today. Like, doesn't it make that seem right for you? Like, there's a lot of things say your rebound. No, their rebound gonna help you get them back, but it's like, isn't that like they put you on the spectrum option, like the green is not glass, not green, not there.
Oh, the grass is not greener? Well, I mean, here's the thing.
In a way, kind of.
All right, here's the thing. I'm on YouTube. I do videos. I'm a breakup coach. I'm not going to say something bad about everyone else or what they do, but the bottom line is everything's general information. You know what I mean about general information? So there's no, well, when you go into your breakup and you watch a lot of videos, and a lot of people watch a lot of videos, I think you have too. So then you get all this information and you don't know this. You start tapping and you go, even though I don't know what he's doing, I'm okay, because you're trying to guess. You don't know. So you could watch a video and they go, hey, this is what happens when your ex in a long distance relationship says, I want physical presence. And then you're like, oh, that's true. It's not true to your situation. You just don't know. Number one, he's long distance. Number two, he just called you a week ago. So that's all you know. So you have to accept the parts you don't know and stop trying to figure it out. The idea that someone's in a rebound or not a rebound, it doesn't really help you. If they're in a relationship, back off.
Yeah.
Right? That's that. Whether it's a rebound or not a rebound, you're not going to know for 6 months or a year, because they don't know if it's a rebound. So whenever your ex-partner's in a relationship and you know it, you're not guessing. There's no alternative than to back off and let that play out for them. You can't be in the sidelines going, is this a rebound? Is this
Should
not
we
a
stop
rebound?
calling it a rebound? Should we just label it like maybe a new relationship? That's it?
I mean, all right, I'll tell you this. The best way to assess a rebound is if you were in it.
Then you could say,
yeah.
I'm in a rebound.
And then when you break up, it was a quote unquote rebound. Like if I was in a relationship after a breakup and I was like, oh, that was a rebound, I won't know till it's over. Someone doesn't go into a rebound relationship and go, yeah, I'm looking for a rebound, man. Like that's what I'm looking for. So what happens is the ex looks to call it that because it's negative. So then they hope that it's a rebound, because if it's a rebound, then they have a chance. But really what they have to do is go, like you said, well, I'm doing some work on myself. I have these anxiety issues. I'm working towards my future on this tech thing. You have some specific things. A lot of people just go, yeah, I'm working on myself. What are you doing? I don't know. I go for walks. It's like, okay. You know what I mean? So you got to get specific on those things. But the idea if it's a rebound or not a rebound, that won't be that won't be proven, and it's actually just an opinion. There's no fact to that. It's just a word, right? So it's just like saying if food is really good or not, if a pizza place is really good or not. It's just an opinion. So don't get too caught up in that part. Right now, if you've been 60 days no contact and you just talked and it was a good conversation and you feel good about that conversation, then keep the dialogue going. But you're not going to get back together anytime soon because of the distance problem. If you can deal with talking to each other but not being serious, then it's okay. But you're not going to, this idea that you want to get your way, that's not good in a long distance relationship. You've said that about yourself. So this being in a long distance relationship is not the best for you. And I mean, if this is a good guy and a good situation, when things could line up, but you got to make space to possibly meet someone else in your country right now. It's possible, and give yourself a chance. But if you want to keep talking to him, you could. But
Actually, I have questions. Just like those guys rebound, not like a like they want new relationship.
I'm sorry, I lost you for a minute there. Say that again.
Like if your ex want a relationship right now, and then they are getting one. And if that didn't work out, and they come back, doesn't that make you like they didn't appreciate what you had before? Like they just relationship that we.
All right, hun. I can answer that. You're 25, 26 years old, both of you?
Yeah.
Okay, he doesn't, I'm going to be honest with you, he doesn't want to go without intimacy for a long period of time. He's 25, 26 years old. That's not personal. That's not you. That's circumstances. You know what circumstances are? So,
I could get it, you know?
well, that's when you go, even though I can't control my country not letting me leave, I'm okay. I accept myself. You got to accept it.
Right.
That's the circumstances. Do you understand what I mean? So, if you're not able to move to his country, at least, you know what I'm going to give him credit? At least he's being honest. He's telling you the truth. He's 25, 26 years old, and he doesn't want to be talking on the phone or playing with himself all the time. He wants intimacy. And it's not because you're a bad girlfriend or you had a bad relationship. It's because you're not present, and you have no control over that. Does that make sense? So you have to let go of the fact that if he ends up with someone else, that's a decision for you to make later on, if that came back around. But if you are like, well, what would you do? What would I do? I'm a different person, okay? If it depends on the circumstances, how close I am. The thing about relationships and love and different things like that, there's no rules. You follow your own rules and you learn from them. But right now, the circumstances of the situation, you can't get around. Now, in the future, if you say like, oh, like what you're just saying, the scenario that you said, well, if he sees someone else and then comes back to me and the grass wasn't greener, that's his fault. Sure. But what I would say is I don't blame him for wanting to have an intimate relationship in his home country when there's no timeline of when you'll be able to come over. That's all. That's not that you're a bad girlfriend or you're unattractive or you're not a good person. That's, hey, I'm 25, 26 years old in my prime, and we can't get around this. Now, if he comes back, you can't just go, oh, I know you hooked up with someone else or this or that. Then you're just bringing up old shit. That's not going to help your relationship. So what you have to do is go, you know what? I'm a free agent too. I'm allowed to see other people and see what happens. And if you met one good guy, this guy I'm assuming is a pretty good catch. He's a good dude. Yes or no?
Kinda.
Kind of?
What do you mean?
On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your attraction to him?
Ooh, you're talking about my ex, the new guy.
The
ex. Oh, you have a new guy.
Yeah. No.
Oh, the hypothetical.
I'm very.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what you're very attracted to him? So like a 9 or 10. What's your connection to him?
what that refers to.
Like
You're very
how good
emotional.
both. Like when you guys just talk. Connection to me is just like how good you talk to each other. You like hanging out together.
Yeah, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
And trust.
Yeah, we trust each other a lot. So show me everything.
All right, so that's a pretty good relationship, right?
Yeah.
That takes two. So that means you're a good partner and he's a good partner. That means that you have, out of, I don't know, there's a lot of people in China.
Yeah.
Out of all the people there, there's an opportunity for you to meet someone equal or higher, but not the same person. See how that's different? You're always gonna. Oh, I'll never meet someone like that again. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You'll never meet that person again, but you can meet someone equal or better for you. But you have to open the door for that. Right now, you're actually in a really good position because look at it this way. You can still talk to this guy, leave the door open, be honest, and tell him, you know what, if you need to see other people, I understand, but I'm going to do the same thing, but let's keep in contact. We can talk once a week if you can handle that. If you can't handle that and it makes you hurt, it gives you anxiety, then you stop the bleeding and you don't do it. You have control over that. So you have options. But you also need to bet on yourself. You're 25, 26 years old. You're going into the tech industry. You got some things going for you. If you got this guy, you can get another one. Do you understand what I mean? So what you're looking at is him. Look at you and what your resources and your options are. There's a difference. Your perspective right now is all him. But what you need to do is you're getting into like, I'm going to do this in the tech industry. I'm going to have a better relationship with my family. Oh, and I'm going to get back out there and start dating again. And maybe I go on some bad dates. But I'm okay. I'm going to get out there again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
All right. Was this helpful and useful to talk today?
Yes. Thank you.
All right. If you want to do a session in the future, go ahead and book one. Or if you want to contact me through email or something and you want to talk again, I'm here for you and I'll remember you. Jen.
Thank you.
Not Snowflake Jen. All right? Thanks for being brave enough to share it. Thanks for being brave enough. And like I said, use that EFT. It works. That tapping technique. I'll email it to you. Okay, hon. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Jen.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Who's next? No. Skinner like that?
Brand new Skinner.
Smokey the Cat from PB. I believe that's my old college roommate who's been on a milk carton for a couple years. If that's him, if he's still on deck, that's amazing. I was checking ERs, man. Smokey the Cat, PB misses you, man. I just ran into someone that worked. If Smokey the Cat, please let me know you're still on deck, and so I'm not talking to the wall. Rye Flint, love this. Okay, so you guys like that? Yeah, I'm happy to share coaching. I'm sorry that was a little bit hard to hear, but that tapping technique, sometimes I'm a little bit shy to use it because people look at it like, what's this? Are you serious right now? It actually works.
That's EFT, right?
Yeah.
EFT.
And there's different versions of it, like tapping. But it's good to, if you had, a lot of times people teach kids it, like when they have a problem or something, and it calms them down. There's a lot of good stories about it. But it's one of those things, it's so easy to do, it's hard to sell it.
Right, because you're like, just do
right?
that.
And literally people will go like this, they'll go, where'd it go? What happened? Now, like I said, the catch is you'll get anxiety and worry again. It's just a technique to accept your feelings. So when you're saying like, and like I said, some people say love and accept myself or these things, you can say I'm okay. But you just need to make the statement so you can accept that it's true.
Like, it's okay that I'm feeling anxious right now.
That's the whole point. Okay. The whole point that you're anxious is because you can't stop feeling anxious, right?
It's funny like, what you said about the sleeping thing. Like, I'm worried, oh, God, it's like 5 o'clock. I have to
can't
get up.
Accept that you can't sleep.
It, dude. Yeah.
They say that one of the best things to do when you can't sleep is to get up and watch TV and get up and walk around the house and stop fighting it, right? So it's the same thing with a thought in your head. Like, my ex isn't going to call me. Even though my ex isn't going to call me, I'm okay. I accept myself. Even though my ex isn't going to call me, I'm okay. It's like, just accept it in the moment.
Yeah. That's funny about the getting up and like walking around. When I've done that, it's like the anxiety just goes away. I'm like, I'll just, just chill and I'll just, watch TV or whatever. And not,
What do you mean for sleeping?
Yeah, for sleeping.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
when that happens, and I've just been like, because I'll be laying in bed just like super anxious, and then I'll get up and I'll feel better.
The tapping technique too, there's a couple different ways to do it. So you can do it where you just say like if it's so the first thing you do is you go on a scale of 1 to 10, how much are you worried or whatever the feeling is. It could be anger.
Right.
Some people have anger. Some people have different things. But one of the more interesting things to do is like, let's say, even though I'm really angry at B today because he was 10 minutes fucking late, I'm okay. I accept it, right? If I was really angry about that. So then I would say angry, and then I might go, he's always fucking late.
Just do that every day.
And then you add in some other things that are a part of it, like say whatever you want to say, and you'll start going like, I don't think he gets it.
Right. But
it really upsets me when I'm like, and you'll start coming up with new stuff.
Right. But I can be 10 minutes late is like, it's cool.
Right? So you'll come up with new stuff, and then you'll be like, he's never going to get it. And like you start airing out more things.
Right.
And then you come back to that. Like you said, Mac, there's no fault here. It's just a difference of circumstance and current situation or position of life. The bottom line is one thing that I've learned, and one of the things that I do in coaching sessions now, is your biggest issue, myself included, is being too rigid. What do I mean by that? Being rigid means like, oh, this is how it is. I know they're in a rebound. No, you don't. You just took one point of view of one possibility, right? It's like if you look at entrepreneurs or people that are rich, you're like, oh, they just got that from their parents. You don't know that. There's a lot of them that are, rags to riches, or there's a lot of assumptions being made, right? Oh, this guy has a Rolex. He's rich. Might be a fake one. They got a lot of them in Asia, right? So
good ones.
The same thing happens with your problems. You just take one point of view. And so if you talk to someone like myself that can maybe go, hey, how about this perspective? Does that make sense? And then you change your perspective, you change your point of view, and really that's what positive people do that irritate the hell out of you when you're being negative. You're like, why are you doing this? They just have a different point of view. They're just filtering for different things. And so the only things that are absolute, right? 2 + 2 is 4. I can't really give you another point of view on that. I can't. The rest of the world can argue that. Here's a really interesting thing, right? You think to yourself, well, what about colors, Mac? Like red, white, blue, black, right? We can all agree on that. But then if you get into shades, it's like that's sky blue. No, it's indigo. No, it's this. There's so many things that are opinion-based. Then if you go into language, there's different words for different things. So the same thing happens when you have trouble in your life. You're just looking at it from one point of view that's highly negative. And then when you get stuck in that zone, because you've talked to someone that actually fucking made it worse, that just said something like, you're in a breakup and you're like, yeah, I know she's cheating on you. It's like, thanks, bud. Like, just get back out there, man. It's like, that'll make it worse. If you talk to someone like myself, it's like, all right, let's unpack this and go through it all. Yeah, maybe she is, but you also have the like there's ways to look at this in a different way. And then that's why I got into hypnotherapy, because what hypnotherapy does is you have so many distractions and things. This is why so many people have anxiety, right? The phone. If you turn on YouTube right now, you have 100 different YouTube things that grab your attention, right? So like, it's very hard for you to focus. It's very hard for you to, so when you get into hypnosis, you can drop all that, get straight to your unconscious mind and get deeper into how you really feel. And then you can drop that rigidness that, oh, I know he's cheating. I know he's with someone else. No, you don't. And if he was, you still have the opportunity to go out with someone else. And also, if we looked at it, like I said to Jen, I said, if you really think about it, with all the billions of people where you live, you could meet someone equal or better eventually. Maybe not now, but if your relationship was good, you were a part of that. Some people are just in really bad relationships. Then you should be relieved to be out of them, because even if it was your fault, you still got to work on yourself. Like I said, it's kind of because it's just so overdone.
Right.
Well, hey, got to work on it. It's like, get specific. What are you going to work on? No one else wants to call. I'm on a roll here. I've been feeling good. I wasn't feeling good the last couple of days.
So this is your breakout?
Man, that rain got me.
Well, the weather finally started to Turn around here.
What we got here? He said it turns into OnlyFans. How did it turn into OnlyFans, dude?
For what?
You said turn the cam on. So you called it meridian. Is that connecting physically to pressure points that relieves you emotionally in a way that's soothing and reaffirming? It's Leandra, it's called EFT. And the emotional freedom technique. If you look up some of the videos on it, it's OnlyFans because of her echo. Okay. A lot of the videos on EFT are kind of dated and old and a little cheesy. So I could see it turning off some people. It seems like an infomercial, some of them. Really? I could pull them up right now. But it works. And there's, like I said, there's 20 different versions of it. And I'll be doing, I haven't advertised it yet, but I'm going to do a certification course with another girl coach, probably in mid-November if you want to do that. Beautiful weather here in Central Europe. It's warm. Excellent.
Yeah,
Never been to Central Europe.
Rye says we sent the weather over there.
Oh, yeah? Man, it was rain. Oh, maybe, because you're closer than you think.
It was horrible for a while.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else have some questions or want to come on deck on the channel? Brand new Skinner, I think you need to air out some things. Come on, man. 2 hours, 25 minutes. Wow. When this video gets uploaded, people are going to go, yeah, I don't want to watch that, man. Give me the shorts.
Give me the minute long version.
Told you, like, a friend of mine a year ago, it's like, how are you making an hour and 45 minute? I don't even open your videos because of it. She's like, what the hell? Because you know what's funny? It's like when you go on YouTube, you rarely see someone has like an hour 45, 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
It seems like they're getting shorter. It does.
It's a gift. I told you I had one 2 years ago. It was 5 hours.
5 hours?
It was 5 hours. There was an Indian guy from India, because they do live other places, that he got on, and I kept going, hey, like, let me in. Let me stop talking for a little bit. Let me help you. And he's like, okay, no problem. You know, like, but he just went, and then we had another guy on, someone else.
Kept going.
Oh, that's good that we got to check this. Now we can get people on the stream. Cool, man. Very, very cool. Just get we got some shorts to do later on today, I guess. How many people like shorts? Do you check shorts a lot, B?
Yeah, now that I think they've been coming up more on my feed, or like
you
when
check them
now?
now?
I mean, I just like ones that are interesting.
Quick hitters.
Yeah. I definitely think that's the way it's going for sure.
I think it is too. I think that there is a place for live show. Oh my God, I completely understand rigidity. There's no flexibility and you're stuck in the same loop. Yeah. Milton Erickson, who someone I follow closely, if you want to look him up, Leandra, if you're interested in that, that's what he clarified as the biggest problem with a lot of people in therapy is just not. And if you look at Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl, he just said to find a purpose or a meaning. So that what he meant was change the meaning. If you can't find it, find one that works for you. But Milton Erickson's like, yeah, the lack of flexibility on the situation, because you can reframe, or if you look at Milton Erickson's work, it's pretty interesting. He uses a lot of metaphors, a lot of stories, and what he would do would be, like, he had a client that was saying he came to him because he was like, I can't remember names. So instead of telling him like how to remember names and stuff, he said, well, you know, my parents were married for 74 years. And he goes, my mother passed away and my dad would have liked it to be 75. Now you're thinking, like, what does that mean? What he's saying is you can't have it all, man. Let go of trying to remember people's names. You can't do everything. And he
took that weight off of,
like, because that's what happens.
Right.
You make it heavy, right? Like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. You just keep making it true. Man's Search for Meaning, I could tell you about it. It's finding meaning in things.
Do you have book notes on that?
I don't think I have book notes on Man's Search for
website?
Meaning. I'm not sure on my website. If you go to my website, I have a bunch of book notes on other books, though, Snowflake Jen. Who reads books now, huh? You can get like, I listen to Audible.
Yeah.
We had Stream about it. Do you know who Milton Erickson is?
Just from what you've told me, but before, no.
You know what's crazy about his childhood? This is what's interesting about people that are pretty extraordinary characters, is like looking at how they got that way. So
Like how they were raised?
He was incredibly observant, and that would be an understatement. Like an understatement. It's ironic because I was at a coffee shop having breakfast today, and the guy that owns the shop, I looked at this other guy, and you know the shop, the coffee lab.
Yeah.
And I looked at this guy just from behind, like a profile, and I go, "Is that your brother?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Man, you're so observant." Right? And I go, I could just tell by the silhouette, like the way he was sitting and stuff. And he goes, "You're one of the most observant people I know." And I was like, "Thanks." But Milton Erickson, he had polio, right? And I don't know polio very well, like all the ins and outs of it. It's an older thing that was more of a problem back in the day. He was born in 1919.
Before we had the vaccine?
Yeah, 1919. Yeah. That's 100 years ago, by the way. So he's like, he's supposed to die. He, literally, and he grew up on a farm. He has like 7 sisters, 1 brother. I know this because I just was listening to the Audible book, so it's not like it's just like machine gun in my mind. So the doctors tell his mom, he's like 15, 16 years old, like he's going to die by tomorrow. And he goes into like a seizure state and all this other stuff. But he ended up living, but he couldn't talk or walk for a long period of time. I don't know the exact amount of time, right? Now, so in the process, he has 7 sisters, a brother, right, and parents. So he would just observe them. So he would say that, like, when your vein shows in your neck and you say no, you really mean yes. So he would observe all these mannerisms
From his family.
Yeah, that like everything, the way they walk,
Right.
the way they would react, the way they would tilt their head. And so when he became a therapist, he would dissect reactions to words and different things. It's pretty fucking interesting. He was like a genius about it. A question, you don't seem very interested. I'm sorry, B. A question, yeah, you're just like, A question, does it feel disappointed that he still has love for me, but he choose other thing other than fighting for the relationship? What's your perspective, Mac? I'm never a fan of anyone that gets into fighting for the relationship. I think that's a narrative from Hollywood. And I think that the idea that you have to fight for a relationship, I think people go fight for the relationship. If the relationship has to be fought for, there's problems there. Fighting is due to problems. So I've told you before, there's no way he can overcome the situation and being in different continents and you not being able to leave your country. Okay. So if you mean fighting for the relationship would mean that he moved to your country or you moved to his, it sounds like it's an impossibility right now. So that's circumstance. So you would want him to sacrifice his future in name of fighting for the relationship. Now, if fighting for the relationship involves, if that involves him being celibate and not having intimacy for a year or 2 years or whatever it takes for you to visit him again, there's a lot of guys that wouldn't put up that fight. Okay,
that's up to him, right?
Yeah, and I wouldn't even call that a fight. I would call that a sacrifice.
Sacrifice for sure.
Okay, but he chose another thing than fighting for that. So that's just. So this is a really good question, by the way. That's just a narrative or a storyline that you've chose to look at it. But the reality is, it's not about fighting. It's about him sacrificing. But like I said, there's a lot of guys out there that I know that would be in a long-distance relationship and go, oh, yeah, keep you on the sidelines, lie to you, and see other women. He didn't do that. He told you the truth. So that's actually more loving than you think. Someone that will break up with someone because the circumstances aren't good is a lot more courageous and strong than someone that keeps the relationship going because they can't break up, they don't want to be honest, or they want to have their cake and eat it too. You see how that's different? Now, does it feel disappointing that he still has love for me but chose another thing? He didn't choose another thing. I mean, like I said, he's choosing honesty. This is how he feels right now. Now, you're saying, I'm willing to go the other way. Now, he's obviously maybe has some temptation around him or something like that. So instead of just acting out on that, he's telling you the truth. So he's choosing the truth. And there's some value in that. That's admirable. The fact that he's contacted you back 60 days later and you've had a good talk, leave the door open. But you can't be rigid about this like you're together. And this is one of those cases, and correct me if I'm wrong, he might be in a position where he has more options than you have options in your place. I talked about this. Sometimes in long distance, one person has more options than the other based on the city or the area they're in. It's not fair, but that's not his fault. Mm-hmm. Adolf Adler had similar family history, so he became a Dr. Adler, left us rich literature and knowledge to learn from it. Thank you, Sabina. Yeah, Milton Erickson, maybe I'll do a show on it, but it might make some of you yawn over here. But he's like, yeah. Let's talk about Fred Couples or something.
Actually, he just
Freddie Couples.
He just won.
That's random.
It is random.
Is he about 80 years old?
60 something?
Wow.
Maybe? I don't know. Maybe 50s. I don't know.
That's the only one. That's one of the.
It's so random that you said that because he just won.
Really?
Yeah. After like not winning
Freddie
for 5
Couples.
years. No, after not winning for 5 years, he just won.
He won the Buick Invitational. I remember.
Did he?
Anyone else want to come on deck? I got the energy. No. I'll give it a few minutes. Anyone bold enough to come on and tell their story, ask some questions? We got 15 on deck. This is an open forum today. We're going to have this on for 24 hours today.
We got the coffee going.
I want to fight. I want to fight for your relationships. That was a good question, Snowflake Jen. I hope that helped you. Mm-hmm. And you know what? That's exactly what I give is perspective. Mm-hmm. And perspective isn't the truth. You can decide to agree or disagree. But what perspective does is it changes your thinking based on who's telling you it and if you respect them or not. So if you ask someone's perspective and they gave you the same answer and they were someone off the street, you might not give them the time of day. And this is the power that doctors have.
They look the part.
Well, they got the credentials and stuff. Yeah, no, I've read a book about this, and it was like, wow, it's pretty interesting.
Right.
Or, a famous person. Mm-hmm. Look at all these famous people involved in politics.
That's where you get in trouble. I mean,
no, they don't get in trouble because
that's where people, like the general people,
they don't because there's total credibility because you're famous.
For sure. I'm saying that's where you get in trouble to like listen to these people because you're just already like kind of comfortable with them, and you're like, oh, they know what they're talking about, and
they could tell you that strawberry cake will get your ex back, and you'll go, oh, you know what? Kanye West said that,
and he makes great music, so
yeah.
He must be right.
He's really smart. Mm-hmm. Okay, sure. What did I have on deck here? I didn't even get to it. Oh, how to get your ex back from their rebound relationship, Brad Browning. And I got a funny one. Oh yeah, I didn't pull this up. What to do if your ex is in a rebound relationship. Wait, I'll show you this one. I'm going to pull this up really quick. Thanks for your answer. Indeed, he is honest and takes courage to end a relationship. It does take courage. Yeah. It does. And it's very easy as a male to keep something going long distance and stringing you along.
Right.
It does. So what he did was admirable and honest. Mm-hmm. And you know what? If you wanted to keep your ties strong rather than go to this other narrative, you could tell him that. Mm-hmm. You know what? I appreciate your honesty. It wasn't easy for him to say that.
And it probably shows that he cares. I mean,
well, he's a good. There's a lot of men out there that would just keep you on the sidelines and go, well, I got her. This is one of my rotation here. Mm-hmm. Should I really initiate contact with him after some time? Because last time we talked, he told me he didn't work on us. I would just, to be honest with you, right now, I would just leave it alone because you're sensitive. Okay, you're highly sensitive right now. And any interaction you have with them that doesn't go your way, it's going to upset you. But what you're forgetting is that you don't have a lot of power in the situation when you're on different continents and you can't leave anytime soon. So now if that changed where you are suddenly like, I can go to Central Europe in a week if need be, or in a month or 2 months, then I would say that's when you can maybe start talking to each other again, because that's when the gates open up. But if you're highly sensitive, go back into no contact, okay? And do this work on your therapy, or I mean your tech things and stuff like that, and then bet on yourself meeting someone of equal or higher value eventually. You're 20, 26, you're in the peak of your,
right.
your life.
Right.
Okay, got it. Sorry for going on. I apologize. Wait till you see this one, dude. Wait till you see this one. Oh my goodness. I'm going to do a quick reaction here. We got 15 on deck. If you guys want to throw something in the super chat, you can. If you don't, that's fine. That's okay. I understand. This is a real gem. This is a Coach Lee special here.
All right.
Why a rebound relationship can send your ex back. And I haven't seen a lot of like Coach Lee's videos, but I've done a couple reactions to him. But this particular one's like 4 years ago, and it looks like John Denver and Matt Damon had a baby. Wait till you, wait till you.
Hi, this is Lee with myexbackcoach.com, and I'm going to be talking to you about rebound relationships. And I know you're probably panicked if you found this video and you were searching for what to do when your ex gets into a rebound relationship. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that and how actually a rebound relationship is usually a good thing and how it can actually send your ex back to you. So here's how it works. If your ex broke up with you and quickly got into a rebound relationship, then what we need to know is how long were you two together? If it was for more than 2.5 months, somewhere in there, if it was more than that and the relationship was good, then it's going to be difficult for them and for this relationship, and it was most likely something they tried to do to ease the pain they felt from the loss of you, from missing you. Now, I'm going to assume that the breakup that you gave them, and by what I mean by that is that when they broke up with you, you reacted maturely, that you didn't do all the wrong things that I talk about in my videos and at myexbackcoach.com. Things like begging, pleading, texting them constantly, calling them, showing up where they are, not leaving them alone, crying, telling them how much you love them, begging them to come back. I'm assuming you didn't do that.
Even a little bit of Dahmer in there.
The current.
This is only 4 years ago, dude, and it looks like it's from like 1982.
Well, especially when you pause it on that.
You know what? I look at videos of myself 4 years ago, and I'm like, wow, I look different or something, so I shouldn't talk.
But yeah, let's bust out some 4-year-old.
Oh, I have.
Right?
You can make fun of me all day. I don't mind. It's just funny because when you get the perspective of different ones, paused on such a vibe.
Yeah, I know.
This video probably like all his videos have like 200,000-300,000 views or something like that. So he's doing something right, man. Good for him. I like I said, there's new videos where he's posted in like a. Remember you told me like he's got like a raincoat and stuff.
Yeah.
He's got like a raincoat and stuff. It's like Matt. I was like, you look like Matt Damon's brother or something. Like he got a haircut and everything.
Have you tried to do your hair that way?
I don't have hair like that.
So
I actually have curly hair.
You can't do your hair that way.
I actually have curly hair, so
That won't work for you then.
when I used to have long hair and not losing my hairline, I used to have a nice curly mane. This is more of a feathered look. Maybe an older Rick Schroeder. You don't know who Rick Schroeder is.
Rick Schroeder.
Silver Spoons.
No.
You don't know that. You don't know that one, huh? Yeah, there's a lot of information out there, folks, on this rebound thing. But what I would say at the end of the day, don't get caught up in the labels. I know that sounds, but the amount of labels that go out there right now, it just doesn't help you. It just doesn't. It's just, yeah, we're still going. Oh, Johnny, you can jump on now if you want to talk in the bathroom or something.
It's got to be late.
You know how many times I've talked to people in cars and parking lots, and they're like, okay. And then, like, you're getting into something deep, and they're like, hold on. Security's here. There's like a fucking flashlight on them and shit.
Let me make sure we're
I'm like,
good.
it's all right. I'm patient.
Yeah.
I had one client. I should have him on. He was cool, man. Like late 20s. He's a New Yorker. And he pulled over. He was like, he got a new job somewhere, and he was
This is a recent one, right? A recent?
This is like in the last year.
Okay, yeah.
And I did a hypnosis with him. Because like sometimes if a client wants to, at the end of it, for paid sessions, I'll be like, if I have time, I'll do a hypnosis at the end. And he was in his car, like pulled over somewhere, like in a random place. It wasn't like his local supermarket parking lot. And he like dropped the seat back, and he just went into hypnosis on the side of the road. And he came out of it, and he was like, what the fuck was that? You're a fucking guru or something? It was funny, man.
You know what's funny is we made some videos, and then, for your channel or whatever, and I come out like zoned out from it, just from like a few, 20-minute sessions. I'm in like a different state, dude.
What do you mean?
Like when we've made videos before, like meditation or hypnosis or
Oh,
stuff like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
I've gotten into it like amped, like ready to make some videos and whatever, and then I've come out like, oh my God, I need to chill for a second,
You mean from the...
Yeah, from just like listening to the video or whatever.
You're a pretty mellow person, so you probably go in deep pretty easily because you're calm already.
So it's like I don't have to work too hard to get there. I'm already in that.
Well, I mean, they say that certain people aren't susceptible to going into trance. Personally, I've never had someone that I've done it with where we're like, oh, it didn't work, or I didn't feel it. There's some people that feel like that.
Huberman says you have to look up, and
that's bullshit.
I'm just joking.
It's rapport, dude.
Yeah,
it's rapport and comfort. It's just like when I had Snowflake Jen, I'll call her Jen, doing the EFT. You're just following my directions, and then if I tell you the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and you're calm and you trust me, which you should because I'm a trustworthy person, then we can do a hypnotherapy on the... I've thought about doing them on the channel. It's just a fact of when you're not in it, I don't know if people like watching it. Right. Does that make sense? Look at Sabina as a little sideline, little sideshow here. What's your opinion, Sabina? Good. The feather looks... Rob, did you hear a Skype talk with... Okay, so that's what... Most guys will act non-maturely in the breakup. Oh, this is an oldie, she says. It's not. It's 4 years ago. It's a classic, actually.
Classic.
It's like it looks like an album cover from the Doobie Brothers. The hypnosis, probably. That's the thing. A couple of the hypnosis I do, I would be doing a lot of the talking. Probably be interesting for people to see you. I don't mind doing actually on Zoom. It's fine. A lot of people say, "Oh, hypnosis doesn't work on Zoom." It works. It works quite well. It's just the same. But if someone was to do it, and we have people in the comments and live stream, watching, I think that if they couldn't see, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you would enjoy it. Please do hypnosis. Well, that might have to be a paid session, Jen. But if you want to do it, book a session, and I promise you, I'll give you your money back if you don't like it. It's pretty good. Especially if you have anxiety and stuff. It really will help you down, especially if you haven't calmed down in a while. Bernice, you want to come on? You want to talk about some of your stuff? You've been a long time follower, I believe, or fan. Although I've seen you in other chats before. She's from New Zealand, man.
Oh, wow.
A real Kiwi. What's the difference between yellow kiwi and green kiwi? Did you know there's a yellow one?
You mean like actually talk? Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't. I think maybe the yellow one's sweeter. I don't know. I've just recently like bought both of them too. But it's funny. I never had kiwis like growing up. I never
had a kiwi before.
I mean, maybe like once or twice.
I
but it
actually
wasn't
think I like the
something-
yellow ones better.
Yeah, like golden kiwis. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I like them better.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm addicted to them now. They're
Kiwis?
They're good. Yeah.
I think that it's more common getting them here in Thailand because
Yeah.
we get a lot of produce from New Zealand, which is closer, right? So the avocados are from New Zealand sometimes, but they're like $1 a piece here. We got 18 on deck. Who wants to go live right now? Might have to get a water break, but I'm up for it if you're up for it. Who wants to just spill everything? Spill the beans.
Let's go.
Who wants to get into their real situation here? Get a little deeper. I don't know if anyone wants to watch John Denver's little brother.
I think it works. I think it works for him.
It does. It does, dude.
Well,
That was a
How many views did he have on that? Million? What do you have?
how much time you have? Fucking all day. Nah, today we got 16 on deck. We can talk about this. You don't need it. And you know what's interesting? You know why there's more people? Because we're talking about rebound relationships. That's what people like to talk about. It's so nice talking about.
Can you be in like is the rebound for like both, like the dumper and the one that got dumped? Like, can they both be in rebounds, or is it only like, you know?
I don't know if there's rebound rules.
That's what I was kind of wondering.
I just would never be in a situation if I was in a breakup. I wouldn't be going around. Yeah, they're in a. She's in a rebound right now. B.
Right.
I know it. If I ever did that, I'd say fucking smack me. You know, like.
Yeah.
Like, why are you if you're tracking what's going on with your ex, that's a big no-no. All right. There's certain circumstances where, and like I said, if attraction was lost. At the end, I mean, what's going on? Like, that's not going to be redone by the fact that they're in a rebound. But the idea, like, can it go wrong in a relationship outside of you and they come back to you? Absolutely. Absolutely. Labeling it a rebound or not a rebound doesn't really matter. It's not going to, it just helps you because rebound has a negative connotation. That's all. That's all it does. But like you said, two people can be in a rebound. I mean, and then if you asked 100 people what's a rebound, they'd have different stuff.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Right. So in movies, though.
Which is probably like.
Have you ever seen Eat, Pray, Love?
Yeah, I have.
Do you,
With
how serious you are about that? You're like, yeah, I have.
I was thinking.
I've definitely seen that
It's
movie.
with Julia Roberts, right?
Yeah. Did you notice her rebound? You don't remember that, huh?
Was it it was a while ago. Was it like the spiritual guy?
So this is a good example of what Hollywood does.
Right.
So Eat, Pray, Love, I hadn't seen it in years, and I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago I watched it again. I think when I was back in the States or something. And I was just curious how I would look at it now. And she has like a breakup, right?
The beginning of the
like
movie,
a guy
right?
that she was going to marry and all
the
this other
beginning,
stuff.
that's how it starts, right, yeah.
And classic Hollywood, this would be a rebound. She goes to an acting class, and I would say Julia Roberts, who looks timeless. Julia Roberts looks the same as she did 25 years ago in Sleeping with the Enemy. I mean, she's like, right? She doesn't look that different. She doesn't look old. Just like Tom Cruise. They're just, they're timeless, or they have really good surgeons. I don't know. But that being said, it's just, I forgot the guy's name, but he was in Spider-Man. Victor Franco, no, Franco, something Franco.
Yeah.
What's his name?
It's, God.
My niece likes him. He's a popular actor. He's a younger guy. Something Franco.
Dave is his brother. I know that, and I can't.
You know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah.
She ends up with him. He's in that movie, Eat, Pray, Love. And so before she goes to Bali,
James Franco.
James Franco, yeah. He's like in his late 20s. He's an actor, and she's in like an acting class. Do you remember this now?
Yeah, kind of.
And yeah, kind of. Do you or do you not?
I'm
Dude, don't
kind
just
of
don't
running it back.
Don't fucking just be nice, dude. I do this for a living, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Do you remember or you don't remember? Tell the truth.
Kind of, yeah.
So he's involved, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's like I said, classic movies. So she just gets out of a heartbreaking relationship, whatever. Maybe it was her choice, not her choice. And she meets a guy that's like 15 years younger.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, that would be a rebound, the way the movie was. And it ends up like they sleep together and they have all these problems because he's young and immature. But you're just assuming that this guy that's like 27, 28, fairly good looking, has his own place, kind of a cool dude, would go out with a woman like, I don't know, she's like 12 or 13 years older. And you know what I mean? Like that would happen. And then they would like have this relationship and he chased her, like wanted her back.
Right. And she ended up.
Right. And they don't show the space in between the breakup. Like it just, she just meets him and she has sweet eyes for him and he has sweet eyes and they end up hooking up. It's the movies. So in that movie, that would be like a rebound. Like she went out with this younger guy, kind of out of character. They had a lot of fun. But at the same time, was it negative? No, because she got hers. She had a good time. She came out of a long-term relationship and she ended up with a guy that was probably more attractive to her. And they had fun and they, probably smoked some weed and drank some wine. That's what they do they slept on the floor.
Yeah, that's
you know
right.
what I mean?
I remember that. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So like
Yep.
they made it a little bit more gritty and they had fucking candles in the background.
Like he was a spiritual guy.
Yeah,
like that
yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah. So it's like she got a, you know what I mean? That being said, it's like that doesn't really happen that often. Like, you know what I mean?
Probably not.
Because you want me to tell you the narrative that would usually happen in that situation?
What?
Is, all right, let's say that, because I don't know how old she was in that movie, but what do you think she was, like mid-30s to 40s?
Yeah, I would say probably that age range. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And James Franco was 20s, like whatever he was, right? That guy in his 20s would probably hook up with Julia Roberts, but he wouldn't have made it his girlfriend that he lived with, most likely.
Probably not. I mean, yeah.
Maybe I'm just speaking for myself. I mean, I don't know. But I'm just saying that's the narratives that you get in these Hollywood movies a lot of times. That's totally different. So, and it comes up again, and then someone will watch that and go, oh, yeah, Julia Roberts had a rebound in the movie. And then there's a Catherine Zeta-Jones movie that's really famous. I used to think Catherine Zeta-Jones was pretty hot.
Oh yeah, like when
I'm
I was
attracted
in,
to Catherine. I haven't seen her in years because I think she just fell off like the map, and I don't follow.
Oh, she was in movies all
I don't
the time.
follow Hollywood that much, like all the stuff. But she had one where she went out with a younger guy, and they called it the Rebound.
Oh, that was the name.
And it's funny because it's like a good-looking older woman with a younger guy, and is that going to work long term? Probably not.
But it's Hollywood.
You don't see it very often, right? It's what's funny about that? You want to know what's funny about that? If it does happen, it's usually with a rich woman. Right? You just went like this. Right? It's not some older woman that's down on her luck or anything like that, right? It's not. And so in the movie it was like that, and then I don't remember how it transpired, but that's what it was called. So people watch movies like that and they go, oh yeah, rebounds. It's just a term that was made up. It probably wasn't even used. Probably in the last 20, 30 years it's been used more often, but people don't know if it's a rebound till it's a rebound.
Right.
But if I was in a rebound relationship, I wouldn't go, oh my God, I really messed up.
I'm in a rebound.
Like, you just, once you get out of it, you're like, all right, cool. But you still had some good moments in there. Probably had some good intimacy that led the day. So,
And then you can evaluate, oh, that was a rebound.
After
the
mean,
fact.
I've never had one. I've had, women that I've dated, but I wouldn't say that they were my rebound.
So you don't think you were in like a quote unquote rebound relationship before?
No, not at all. I forgot to answer if Brand New Skinner's still on, which I don't know. He asked, let's see here. Man, this is late
It's
night
been
for some Cali
yeah,
people.
yeah.
For the Americanos.
Mm.
You guys still rocking out here, man. There's some night owls out there, huh?
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm one.
You stay up late?
Oh yeah.
What time did you go to bed last night?
Oh, probably 3.
Jesus, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hung out with the bats.
Actually.
There's some fucking giant bats here, man.
Yeah.
Have you seen them?
Yeah, I have.
That's something like if I did a Patreon, I'll video something for you guys. They're like a 5-foot wingspan on the beach. They think you're in Batman, dude. You see those and you're like,
Oh my God.
right. Brand New Skinner asked, are there deal breakers for you in relationships? Isn't that what you asked, Skinner? Just to confirm, my friend.
Deal breakers.
That Bulls.
There's probably too many.
Why did I think I read that somewhere? Who wrote that?
Oh. He asked what yours.
I'm only staying up for the stream is on? Well, that's fucking loyal. Thanks, bud.
So what are your deal breakers? I think that's.
Where did I read that, though? I just thought I read it. Please. I mean, keep in mind, folks, when you're like, wow, Mac's really a night owl, it's actually 2:20 p.m. here. So I'm not a night owl. I go to bed at like 10:30, 11. Yeah. It's kind of funny. It's like, wow, this guy's really staying up late.
Sometimes, or even earlier than that.
People are like, I've had people on coaching sessions, and they're like, man, you're a real night owl, huh? Like, this is it. I'm like, no, it's fucking 10 a.m.
But you get up early sometimes, though.
I get up at 6,
you
yeah.
Well, you said sometimes you got up at like 4. Maybe you just got up
Yeah.
now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've changed. I used to like to go to bed late, but I like the mornings. So he did ask what your deal breakers were.
Yeah, what are yours?
I don't know, man. I mean, it depends on the situation. I suppose in a relationship, deal breakers would be your mom wants to live at the house. That would probably be one, especially if I don't like the mom. That's hasn't really come up for me before, but I remember I had an ex-girlfriend. I could tell that could be a part of the future plan.
Like
without her bringing it up, just knowing the mom.
Was she dropping like subtle clues here and there?
I just was like, nah. You know what? I look back on it. I remember telling her like, your mom's never living with us.
So there might have been.
So like, I have pretty good intuition.
Right,
I didn't realize it then, but it was like 10 years ago or something. And her mom wasn't like a bad person, just controlling and would try to.
You're just not living with her.
I just didn't grow up that way too. Like where my mom doesn't tell me what to do anymore, and hers was like that, and I could just tell where it was headed. So that was one. That wasn't a deal breaker in the sense that happened. We didn't come to that bridge.
Right.
We didn't break up over that, and she was a great girlfriend, and her mom's a good person, but I just foresaw that, and that would be one. What would be another one? I would say when dating, just women that are rude to like staff is a big.
Oh yeah. I don't like.
Like
that.
stuck up, being stuck. Like when I've watched like Fresh or Fit, like the kind of women he has on that show, like none of them are attractive to me. Just the pretentious, stuck up. Like that would be like 5 minutes.
And you're like, all right.
I've been around it a few times when I'm home or something like that. Like, I don't care how good you look. I'm not going to play that game. And I don't think that's a large portion of that's just that's just an example. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, being stuck up would be the characteristics, or rude to staff. Those are two things that are like just no. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, they all try to clone themselves after Kardashian. I don't know what it is, but that particular show, they act like when that show first came out, I'm like, oh, this is a cool concept, like the way it was set up and stuff, and then it's just become Jerry Springer. It's fictional. It's.
Are you talking about the like
Fresh and Fit?
Oh, Fresh and Fit show?
I'm just saying the way it's set up. You know, like, oh, women are this. It's
Right.
like, look at the group that you're getting in here, dude. There's no doctors or lawyers or teachers
Right,
or
you look like you're
there's no
picking them up at the club or something and
they
coming
get them
yeah,
from
yeah.
they get them from the internet, right?
Yeah,
I
probably.
think so. They do like
Instagram
and then they're
or
like,
whatever,
yeah, and then like rouse them all up, and then they're like, this is how women are, and it's like,
Well, those are how those women are.
well, you got a special batch there, dude.
Right.
Like those types, I'd be like, no, like, and those guys date those kind of girls. I don't know. I'd say that. I'd say deal breaker too would be any kind of smell of alcoholism, or
I was gonna say that one for me.
Yeah.
I was thinking like clubbing and stuff all the time.
clubbing would be big. I didn't think about that because that might.
I was thinking about that, and I'm like, maybe in my like earlier, like early 20s or something, I would have never, said that. But now that I'm older, yeah, I don't want you like hanging out at bars and stuff all the time. I don't know.
The stripper type, Rob says. Well, that's a different one. That might not be a deal. That might not be a deal breaker. That might just be not a long term. Smell of weed, nonstop smoker, chain smoking. Yeah, that's pretty gross. I think that sometimes you just think as things go without saying, but they don't actually. Would you date a woman with kids? Does that answer it? You know what? You know what I want to say?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to it,
Right.
but I wouldn't actively.
Send Mac a pic and.
Yeah, like send me the pictures. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like so when I did that review of that Pearls show or whatever. I don't think you were on the live stream, Skinner, but we were talking about it, and she's like, "What if?" She just comes up with these like outrageous things, and then they all debate it. But she goes, what if you had a 75 body count or a single mom? And I was like, well, first of all, let me see the pictures. I mean, doesn't that start with that? And they were like debating it. And then I would say, how would you even know that you had 75 body count, dude? Who's tallying that one, man? Right. It's like, no, I don't think there's many women that go, yeah, like, what's your body count, huh? 75. It's like, all right, well, could you lie? Please? But I would say that I would probably, if it was someone that I met, I talked about this before because there's so many people that are into dating apps and they're either for them or against them. And I was telling familiarity and meeting someone through work or a group of friends. So if you met someone organically, right? Here's what's interesting about that question, Skinner. Now with dating apps, it's like, you know that before you meet someone. So you're like, no. This is the problem, like where everyone's like, oh, all these women want guys over 6 feet. Yeah, if you have a dating profile and you have a choice. But if you worked with someone and the guy was like 5'7", the woman would probably be like, oh, over time, I'm more attracted to him. But if you had a choice on a profile, like you're ordering a fucking burger from, McDonald's, then you're going to go, nah. But I'm saying like,
if you really develop a connection,
yeah,
with
no.
someone
If I met a woman through the gym or something like that, or yoga or one of these things, and I started to like her, and then I found out that like after we got to know each other, maybe. So I would never say never on that. It's definitely not ideal. I think it works better, and this might sound strange, like when a guy has a kid himself, it can work because you both have that element of understanding. Right. So I think I've had friends that have kids themselves, and they usually end up with someone else that has kids. And like I said, it goes together better. But I would never say never. Never say never. But if you were going to, like I said, put it on a dating app or something,
you do see that like pretty common, like where they do share like their connected families, like when like a woman will have a couple
Brady
kids.
Bunch.
Yeah.
Brady Bunch.
Right.
It all started there.
Right.
Can you have a conference chat? Imagine the great debate. I've thought about that before. That would probably be, there's something called like a YouTube. I forgot what it's called. Joseph Rodriguez does it, but then you guys have to pay $10 each or something a month, and then we could talk behind the scenes. 1975 Alfie sequel is a good movie to watch. Shows a kind of few of the things we talked about here. Yeah, they all try to clone themselves. Okay. There's an original Alfie from, I didn't know that. Yeah, it's not number 1 or number 2. Some guys enjoy playing. Some other guys saved video games. Good for them. Unless you're Gene Simmons, who explicitly boast about his body count.
Oh, he's got to have.
I mean, he's a rock star.
He's a rock star. I mean, in the
okay.
70s, you know.
Right? And he's known to stick his tongue out as his fucking trademark, dude. Petty Betty makes a late arrival. Wow. Well, we're 3 hours deep, Petty. You missed a lot. Sorry, there's no...
we're just glad she came, though. You know? We're just glad she's here.
Sorry, there's no cliff notes on this one, hon. The circumstances have to be something that works for all involved. Otherwise, someone is getting some sort of surprise. Is Draymond going to get traded after this season? I think he has an opt-out clause.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to depend on that. I'll be honest, Draymond Green, he's gone a little too far. I've been a big fan of him. I'm a huge fan that he wins and he does well. And he's a Swiss Army knife and all that other stuff. I've backed him for years, but now he did a documentary about himself prior to the opening night game, let alone the fact that he caked fucking Jordan Poole. And then, which is fine because people get in fights in practice and stuff like that. And that's okay, but he made it all about himself. And he was like, I was going to say, I almost thought about pulling that up in a live stream, not about Draymond Green, but just about the way someone tells you who they are. So doing what I've done for a while and being a teacher for a while, like really listening to communication, instead of just coming out and being like, you know what, man, I'm sorry.
Right.
Like I clocked him.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was talking, and he could have said like he was talking shit, man, and he pushed me first, and that's what
triggered me to.
That's what. Yeah. Instead, he did a 15-minute thing of a dog chasing his tail, going, you know, if my mom would have seen that happen to me, it's like, what? Just say fucking sorry, dude. Like you just made it about you. You just made it that if that happened to me, it's like, no, it didn't happen to you. Because if it would have happened to you, you would have made a bigger deal out of it. If Jordan Poole would have fucking cold cocked you, I don't think he would have been. I think Draymond would have chased him around the arena.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he would have let it go. But like he made it like, first of all, like I just want to say sorry to his family. Like if I got hit in practice, I'd be like, dude, let's just keep it low as possible. Like I wouldn't want to keep talking about it. That's how Jordan. And I wouldn't want like, you don't need to apologize to my family, dude. Make it a big deal. It's like you didn't put him in the hospital. No. I want to apologize to his family because I know if that happened to me, my mom would be really upset. It's like, do you see what I'm saying? Like that just shows me how caught up he is in himself. Instead of just saying, dude, I'm sorry. Like I was out of line. I was out of order. You pissed me off. You pushed me. I'm sorry. That's how I am. And then left it alone. Then he does a documentary. Did you hear about that? You didn't hear about that. No. The opening night, I haven't watched it. There's a documentary. So anyone that doesn't know in the live stream right now, you can ask questions about breakups, relationships, anything you want if you've been riding for a little while. But Skinner over here, who's been on deck for years, he likes a little b-ball. So, and so do I. So getting back to this guy, just to give you guys a little background on this guy basically knocks out one of his teammates.
In practice.
Right? So the video gets out on TMZ. I could pull up the video right now. The video gets out on TMZ, right? Video gets out on TMZ. Everyone sees it. It's a harder punch than you'd ever think, right? Yeah. He comes out, does a 12-minute press conference. Excuse me, brain fog. And in the press conference, he could have just said it in 2 minutes. Hey man, I'm sorry. I apologize. I was out of order. He made it this big, long fucking story and made it about him. Oh, if my mom would have seen this, that I did that someone hit me, she'd be so upset. It's like, what? Then on opening night, they had a 17-minute documentary about him and his career and his life. And the last 5 minutes, they talk about the punch.
In the doc.
And he didn't tell the team.
Oh, wow.
He didn't tell the team, dude.
Right.
And so, like, they were asking the team afterwards, they're like, did you guys know about this? They're like, no. And Steve Kerr, the coach, is like, I didn't know about it. And Draymond Green's answer is like, I had already made a financial commitment to TNT, so I'm not going to run from any. I was like, dude, wow. What the like, so selfish. And he's at one of those points now where he's getting. First of all, I don't like stars that are overly arrogant. Who does? Who likes someone that's overly arrogant? But there's certain guys you're like, you know what? You're Michael Jordan.
Right.
He gets a free pass because he's, he walks the walk. He's a fucking legend. And he's actually not that bad of an arrogant guy. He's arrogant like on the court and stuff, but he doesn't go out and he did make a documentary a few years ago and smoke a cigar and do things. But
it's a good documentary.
he's got, I don't know, Michael Jordan's got some element of class. Mm-hmm. He's got class. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's Michael Jordan, dude. It's the Jesus Christ of basketball.
And he's a businessman too, like he runs a company.
But he doesn't say things out of order, out of pocket, right? Mm. Draymond Green sometimes it's just like it's, and people will be like, "Oh, he's great on the mic." It's like not really. Mm-hmm. He's emotional, he's impulsive, and he doesn't it's like me. And the reason I'm talking about this right now, it's like talk about someone like I never use this term narcissist. I don't like it. I'm not going to call him it. But if it was going to call someone it,
right?
It's like that's the kind of like it's always about, you know what I mean? Just take accountability, dude. Mm-hmm. You're going to do it like after that punch. It affects the whole team. He took time away from the team. Before the opening night tip where the rings get handed out, you go and discuss it in a personal documentary you're making money off of, dude. Talk about deal breakers, Skinner. I don't know if they trade him because he's so iconic within that group. But if they got the right deal, they probably would do it. But you know what I mean. But here's what's interesting about people that are highly selfish: they'll always build a case. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean, like that. Sure. Like if you you just witnessed me talking to that woman earlier today. You can build a case for whatever you want to. Whatever you can go on the internet and go get research.
You can go find stuff
You can find stuff. You can build a case. Anyone can build a case. Anyone can be a lawyer now, and that's what Draymond does. He just builds a case. Like, well, and the thing is, when you build a case and you make $25 million a year, no one feels sorry for you. You play basketball. Like if you ever build a case, like the years that I had, it's like, dude, you make $25 million a year playing basketball. Mm-hmm. Okay, like you work hard. You also were blessed to be 6'7". Okay. Yeah. And I'm happy for you. You're a great player. But like playing the card, like making things more dramatic than they need to be. Mm-hmm. No, just like I said, just say fucking, I knocked him out. I knocked him on his ass. He was talking shit to me. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Just be accountable.
And he was pissed at the TMZ
that it got leaked. Out. Yeah.
I mean, he would have been better off like, I fucking got him, didn't I? Mm-hmm. That everyone would have been like, "Fuck, man." At least you're honest about it. That little fucker was talking shit. Do you know what he said to me? Mm-hmm. You know why I fucking hit him? You guys want to know why? You know what he said? And then he pushed me. He's got to know his place. I've been in this league for 13 years. This guy's been here 2-3 years. Yeah, I smacked him. That would have been admirable. Instead of, like going around. Well, his family had to see that, and if my family had to see it, it's like, come on, man. Give me a break. If it was a what's crazy about that? If you worked in a supermarket and some guy knocked out someone from, at the in the stock room, they wouldn't have a news conference over it or anything like that, and it wouldn't be like 10 minutes. The drama that's been created in sports is unbelievable.
Drama sells.
Dude, I grew up watching Sports Center, and we just watched like 2 or 3 minute highlights of every game with like Chris Berman and all these people. Now you got these whole shows, and all it is like people just dissecting other people. And the crazy part, I told you this before. Skinner, tell me I'm wrong if you're still on deck. You got the players now becoming the people that are, how should I say this? Not spectators, but all of them are becoming Stephen A. Smiths right out of the game. Like Richard Sherman, all these guys. So like you just played the game, like, and now it used to be ex-players might be on the mic or something like that. These guys are destroying their old teammates. They're you know what I mean? They're like, but now you have players that are still in the league that are being constructive about their old teammates. It's like, where does this end, dude? Everyone judges everyone. Everyone, like the whole thing about, it's like, all right, I'm going to be out of the league now. Now I'm going to be a professional judge of other players. It's like, all right, like, can you be objective? No, I'm going to go for his teeth. You know, like I'm going to say how bad he played. And it's like, damn, dude, you used to be a player. Like, you have no remorse. Like saying like, oh, this guy played like crap last night. It's like, dude, you were in the league. You're going to do that? Like, would you ever do that? Like, if you had a group of golf buddies and you guys all made it pro, you're on the Asian tour, you're in your dream, and then when you finish, you're like, dude, I'm going to become a commentator and rip them apart when they don't play well.
Sucks, man.
Yeah, dude, it's like fucking Lord of the Flies, bro.
How much are they paying me to be on the?
Would you do it for a
telecast?
Yeah, you'd do it.
Maybe.
Yeah, all right. Well, that says a lot about your character.
If we were bros, if we were
Think about it,
if
though.
we were bros, no.
Think about
No.
like any job. You'd come back and you'd like
If it's somebody I never met before,
publicly talk shit about the league that you were in, like the people that you played with.
nah. It's just that's pretty low, I guess.
And that's what YouTube's at right now, right? Like even I'm doing some reaction videos. I get a kick out of it. Sometimes I'm like, it's part of the thing, man.
Part of the thing, yeah.
It's just what it is. It's actually, people don't know this. It's American culture. It's American culture to enjoy, to humiliate and make fun of people.
Yeah.
That's why in basketball now, if someone falls on a crossover, everyone goes, ooh, ooh, ooh. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about? Like, you grew up playing basketball. Like, I don't even think I don't remember it being a thing. Like,
Well,
if you ever crossed over someone or something like that.
I used to do it all the time, so it wasn't a big thing for me.
And if someone falls or something, ooh, it's like and one.
Yeah.
It's actually not that big a deal because a lot of times people slip, right? Ooh, yeah. Like, everyone gets off their thing. Like, someone fell on the ground. It's fucking admirable what he just did. And then the guy looks at him, right? Yeah. Where's it headed, right? Where's it headed? Like, what if they started in another league where they like allowed guys to spit on each other and smack each other? I mean, that would be like, oh man, we got an underground league now. Now I'm all up. A man who can't control his anger that automatically resorts to violence. Certain words in response would be more powerful than a punch of that nature. Like I said, it's just the way he handled it afterwards. Just go, either say, yeah, I did it, or that, but like to make it about you. And he had like in the documentary, he had like music in the background.
Really?
Like he had like a dramatic music of like, yeah, this is, like he made it out to be like a victim thing. I talk shit on the league and I play in LO. I talk shit on the league. I play in. Good for you, Petty Petty.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let me see if I can pull this up. Let me see.
Yeah, if we were bros, I wouldn't do it. But just some randoms? Okay.
Watch when you see this. Actually, I haven't seen this yet, so this will be good.
What?
This Draymond Green part here.
We're going to have to start a basketball show.
No.
On October 5th, Draymond Green and teammate
Listen to the
Jordan
drama.
Poole got into a verbal altercation during practice. The incident ended with Draymond punching Poole in the face. The situation rocked the sports world and shook the Golden State Warriors to the core.
I think in the very first few minutes, or first few or 10 or whatever, I think you're initially upset, pissed off, which is why you have the reaction you have. And so I think in the first minutes, just upset, like kind of not thinking about much except for what just happened. And then you kind of move to the why, part of the process of why did this happen? And walking yourself through why, the different things that can get you to why what took place actually took place. from there, how do you feel about it? And I think that's the natural process that I went through is, okay, now that you process what just happened, now you've processed the why. Now, how do you feel? And what do you feel about it? Because everyone still needs to process what happened. That can take time.
Look, it's the NBA, it's professional sports. These things happen. There's a lot of trust in the fabric of our team, who we are.
It's for us to handle, privately.
I never once thought no one would hear about it. Nothing stays in-house these days. Everything gets to the media. Everything is said.
A video came out of Draymond Green at practice.
TMZ released this video, Draymond punching Jordan Poole.
This is the biggest crisis that we've ever had.
That's not like one of those fights where you come back and you're great buddies.
This is a bigger story than anyone wants to admit.
If I were him and I did that, I would say, you know what? I don't even deserve to be at ring night.
I actually woke up to the video. Once I woke up to the video, I don't know if the dynamic necessarily changes in that because you never really know people's opinions right away. So you get at the time, you give it some time to allow people to throw their opinion out, which quite frankly, I don't care about people's opinion. And to be totally honest with you, I never really knew how much it blew up because I don't spend much time searching Instagram or looking through comments. I don't spend much time, I don't really read many tweets at all. And so I was just at home chilling with my children. If you want me to be honest with you, I still don't know how much the world may think it blew up.
Sparked by the leak of the video, the incident did blow up. It went viral. It was everywhere. It was front page news. It was discussed, dissected, and debated around the clock in the sports universe, prompting the central figures to look deep within.
There is this dark cloud in the room, and I caused that, so I apologize to his family. For me, that is the task at hand, to rebuild trust in our locker room. I felt as a man, I felt as a leader, that I will do everything that I can to make this right or to right the ship and to help this team, to help Jordan, his family, and move forward from there.
I am one.
Still makes $25 million a year. So he made money off that. He did that. So that was
money.
So does anyone, if anyone hasn't seen the the actual punch, you'd think if you hadn't seen this, because I know some people don't watch this, you think he got hit.
He got hit. That is crazy.
Isn't it pretty? It's pretty bad, dude. We didn't even watch the whole thing, and that's the first time I saw it. I just had heard about it. But if you just want to see,
how his life has been messed up because of he threw the punch, dude. What the hell?
Watch this.
I found out I was with my kids.
You were surprised, huh? I told you,
dude. It's so.
He's gotten bad, man. Hold on a sec. Oh yeah, here we go. Here you guys go.
Footage of the altercation between Jordan Poole and Draymond Green, and it doesn't look good for Draymond at all. Totally uncalled for.
See, right? That's what I'm saying.
It's like a security camera. Look at it.
Well, who's filming?
Did you see?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this a bunch of times.
And they just show it again and again.
Yeah.
All right, enough of that. Way off topic. She wrote, I thought he was the one that got punched. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, so when you ask me if he's going to get traded, I don't know if someone wants that kind of behavior on the team, dude, but it's not just the punch, because I think that happens more than you think in some, especially American football.
Yeah.
They get in fights all the time. They've had some bad ones in America. I remember years ago, like,
Oh, they get into brawls like in football.
But dude, if like an American football player, like, because he did this documentary like 2 weeks after the punch. That's the thing that was even worse, right? And on opening night, and he was like, well, it was part, like, I'm not going to back out of it, but I'm not going to run away from my problems. But it was bad. It's pretty dramatic, right? And thing is, like, American football, like, if someone did this, the team would be like, you're done, dude. Like,
See ya.
It's not that there's more to it. I think he just made it. He's become a media guy. Like, he wants to be in the media. He wants to be followed. He's got his own. Yeah. And he wants to make it like I don't know.
She's probably right. I mean, there might be some other stuff that was said or whatever, you know. Like,
well, that's what I said. Like, do you know what that dude said to me? Like, I would rather you say that than
to like come out and just say the whole thing.
Yeah, like, look, or guys in the fights in the football games and stuff will be like, you know what, it's part of the game or this or that. Say sorry, but yeah, that's the way it is. He just sold more, and that's like a dramatic.
That's probably a factor in it. Like how much are we selling?
That was clean, man.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're at 3 hours 30 minutes. There hasn't been one super chat given. That's okay. I accept it. It's all right. I ride. 50. I mean,
ride or die.
We got guys making 25 mil a year. Right? In the stitches. All right. So
maybe you need to throw a punch over here. Maybe that'll get some more. I don't know.
Was there stitches?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't even think there were stitches. I don't even think that you know, like that there was that
But
much.
I thought it looked like he followed up with like a knee or something. You know, like he was doing a Muay Thai knee.
Yeah. Like I said, one of the things is he pushed him. So like some people, when you're, you know, face to face and you get contact, you know, I remember when I was a kid and got in a few fights, like when you get pushed, if you get pushed hard, it jars you and it snaps you into like, what's up?
Oh, fight mode? Like,
yeah,
let's go?
You get touched, you know, so. Anyhow, we got 15 on deck. This has been good, spirited. This has been fun. I'm glad B's on deck. We could do more of this, maybe integrate some more. We're getting off topic now, but it's been fun. Who's still on? Rob, Sabina, the usual suspects here. Thanks, Jen, if you're still on deck, for joining. If you wanted to do a hypnosis in the future, I'm here for you. Bernice, thank you for touching base. Trudy, also known as Leandra. She has a career in the CIA. Has 2 handles on YouTube. But tells you. What honesty. Actually, this is Leandra. So I was like, oh, we got someone new on here. Oh my God, Eduardo Martinez jumps on at just the right time, right when I was say la vie.
We gotta throw on 2 more hours now.
Yeah, Eduardo Martinez. Yeah, we've been live for a while, bud. It's been a good one. All right, Rye Flint, Eduardo, good to see you. I'll be back on deck most likely tomorrow or the next day. Petty Betty, always a pleasure. Rob IS, thanks for staying strong. Guardian at the gate. Skinner, always a pleasure. Oh, Johnny. Snowflake Jen from China. Yeah, this was good. It was spirited. We'll definitely have some people come on. Anyone that wants to come on in the future, I think it's going to be a lot of those. All right, folks, it's curtains. Take care.
See you guys tomorrow.